stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. Just like me.
There we are. Look, we're back. We're live.
Hey, listen, you guys have made another mistake and joined us for another week of Access Vegas, where we come on here. We're not doing anything bad. Listen, stop demonetizing us. We're just going to react to viral videos today and spread our misinformation. That's all we got coming up. We have an amazing week of events coming up. Just to let you guys know real quick, those of you who are in Phoenix, Arizona, January 16th and 17th, myself, Owen Cook, and Marcel Klein are going to be doing a free tour. If you guys are interested to come to that, make sure you check out my IG. We have all the details there, and the link is down in there. For those of you who are in San Diego, California, the three of us are also going to be there the 28th of February. Also, for those of you who are coming to San Francisco for the Super Bowl on the 5th of February, is going to be Babes in Toyland in San Francisco for the Super Bowl. And I'll also be at the Sports Illustrated party, Shaq's Funhouse, all the other parties. I go to those every year. I got the Cybertruck just so I can drive out there and do that. And then I'm trying to think what else we have coming up. And then the other thing, the audio version of his book has come out now, so you guys can go check that out. The Reignite book. If you guys want to go check that out, make sure you do that. If you want to super chat, you can super chat on my channel, or you can super chat on his channel. We're also live on Rumble. If you want to go ahead and subscribe there and not let your friends know that you subscribe to such
filth,
lowly peasants and filth,
like bottom of the barrel podcast, like according to Rogan. Yes,
for sure. Make sure. Yes. And if you guys happen to listen to any other content creators and they sound like they're stealing every single word that comes out of our mouths, that's not a mistake.
This is where it originated.
This is where it originated from. So awesome, guys. We want to make sure
glad to be your inspiration.
So let me go ahead and did you have anything?
No, I just want to point out that the AVN is coming at the end of January as well, and I know that Mike Tang is going to be in town. I figured I'd give him a plug real quick, because Mike Tang is a very great. He's done our photos before. Great professional photographers coming through.
It's really hard to do a show during AVN because every girl's booked.
No one, they don't want to come here. They want to stay there.
They want to stay. It's like, what do you have to do? It's
we
like,
made that mistake once.
I gotta go to a party for $3,000. Sure, a party. Got it. During AVN. Beautiful. Yep. All right, guys. Let's go get it started. Kaisha Marie, is that I said it correct?
Yes.
Okay. She's from Seattle. She's an influencer and author. Welcome back. Good to see you on the show today. Thank you so much. She's from El Paso. She's a musical artist and a barber. It is Lizzie Baby. Welcome, Lizzie, for the first time. Good to have you on here. She is from San Diego. She works at the Bunny Ranch, and she is a musician, is Lauren Rosas. There she is once again. She is from Los Angeles. She's an entrepreneur and model. It's Milena. Got it.
Wait. You're also Mrs.
Iconic Croatia.
Iconic Croatia.
Got it.
He is the creator of Parallel Lives. He's from Miami. Welcome, Ethan Kaiser, to the show. Beautiful. Good to have him here. And she's from Boise, Idaho. She's an influencer and OF model. For the first time on here, we have Lux. Thank you for joining us, Lux. Okay, awesome, man. Let's just get into it, man. Let's show this. So, ladies, I want you to go into this with an open mind. And I want you to watch this, and then we're going to get your reaction, okay?
All right. You want me to do number one?
Do number one.
Yep.
I made an app called Parallel Live that makes it look like you're live streaming with tens of thousands of people watching to see how people treat you differently when they think you're famous. I got invited to this random girl's birthday party, and when I put out the live stream, I was a hit.
Guys! Oh, sorry. This one. I had this on top of it.
Sorry, let's try this
again. How old is the birthday girl? The winner gets a prize.
The comments are AI generated, and I activated meme mode where the audience is mean to everyone.
Oh. No, I'm not in my 30s. Who is that? Block that person.
Oh, thank you for the $80 donation.
Your bitches need to get your leech hands off Ethan.
Oh my god!
I then went to a rooftop, set up my live stream, started fist bumping, and didn't have to even say a word. Word got out that I was famous, and even the bartender wanted to see. If you want to experience what it's like to be the life of the party, check out my app, Parallel Live.
Awesome. Show another one.
Yeah, you want the next one? Okay.
All right, ladies, watch. Just keep watching the video here. Donations, money.
I made a fake live app called Parallel Live that makes it look like you have tens of thousands of people watching your live stream.
Who are you?
Oh, thank you for the $20.
The audience is AI powered and can hear you and started donating. This was insane. She started telling everyone she made me all this money. Then I started getting mobbed by girls wanting to be in my live.
You want to be in my live stream?
Random groups of girls kept coming up to me, asking to hang out with me. They wanted my number. I've never experienced anything like this.
If you think they're beautiful, send in a donation. I'll buy them a drink. Oh, thank you for the $10.
People started filming me everywhere I went. I felt like a celebrity. This girl asked me to put sunscreen on her.
This is for scientific purposes only.
If you want to experience what it's like to be famous, click the link in my bio and download Parallel Live.
Shameless.
Yeah, one more.
Last one. Here we go.
I'm in
This one?
live streaming with tens of thousands of people watching to see how people might treat you differently when they think you're famous. Once word got out that I was famous, people just started staring at me. And they just kept coming up to me.
Holy shit, you have so many viewers. Who are you?
Oh my god. Viewers does he have?
Who are you?
Who the fuck are you?
I'm Ethan.
I then met this really cute girl and told her not to do anything too crazy because 20,000 people are watching. If you want to experience what it's like to be famous where people can't get enough of you, check out my app, Parallel Live.
God, this is such a social
Okay,
experiment.
ready? All right,
I know.
Before I get your reaction,
I have so much to say about this.
Before I get your reaction, ladies, if you could all look at me here real quick. How many of you would have fallen for this? Raise your hand. That's hilarious.
I would have thought it was real. I would have thought it was real.
Fucking hilarious. Okay,
Yeah.
so none of you would have thought that was real. Got it? Okay, cool. How many of you know a girl who would have fallen for this?
I would have fallen. I would have thought
Yeah.
that was real.
So raise your hand. Raise your hand high if you know a girl who would have fallen for this.
Probably me. I probably would have thought.
me.
You probably would have.
Cool, you know?
Okay, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
No, it's all good and fun, and I feel like no one here would have felt.
I'm so daft.
I tend to believe people like the minute they tell me something.
One of my favorite
I'm
questions
gullible.
to ask women is like, how promiscuous are your friends, or how promiscuous are you? And they'll give us a scale on 1 to 10. And usually it's around like a 2 or a 3.
Right.
And then we say, how promiscuous your friends, and they'll say it's an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, your friends would say the exact same shit about you. And so I asked these girls, how many of you would have fallen for this? Sorry, all of you would. And then you would. If you would have seen it, you would have
I
not
fell
known
for
that
it
he didn't have
before.
75,000 people.
Well, but the reaction might have been different. Right?
Yes, the reaction.
reaction
I
was-
agree with you
yeah,
that the reaction
yeah.
would have been different. What is some of the craziest reactions that you've got?
Oh my god, it's crazy. If I use this in Europe, they lose their freaking mind.
Oh,
They
yeah.
they can't they don't have influencer fatigue like the US does. Maybe I think in like Miami and LA, we're kind of tired of the whole influencer thing a little bit. But in Europe, they're just like, oh my god, I've seen you on it. Like I've seen this concept on Instagram. Like who are you? And I have videos. I've told him about this. A woman, she had a wedding ring on. She took the wedding ring off. And she's like, oh, you're a famous streamer. I go, no, yeah, I am, but like, you're married. And she's like, no, it doesn't matter. We're fighting.
Dang.
Crazy.
Wait, what was her nationality?
I think she was Mexican. She was Mexican.
Yes.
Oh.
And then the night goes crazy because I tried to actually get away from her because she was kind of freaking me out, and she wouldn't leave me alone. And then she's like, as I walked away, eventually she was like, if I was in Mexico, I'd have you killed. I'm like,
Oh
you're-
my God.
oh my god,
Oh my
You're-
God.
I literally have it on video. It's insane. Yeah.
They're
It's crazy.
spicy.
Yeah.
Mexicans
How
are
many
spicy.
how many guys have fallen for this? Well, actually, it's so funny because when I first made it, guys were like, they'd always invite me to like their section or their table because they thought that like by having me there, more girls were going to come.
Right.
Because I was like the magnet. Yeah,
it's clout chasing.
And that
guys.
still happens today because I do have a large social following. So that still happens today where they're like, I definitely think like some of my friends like me because of the social following and like the attention that I bring them.
Right.
People
Right.
love a winner.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So that was you on the video?
Yeah.
that's me.
That was you.
I was
oh my
little-
God,
I was
you look
younger.
So different,
I was-
mister. What happened?
I fucking have facial hair now.
That's
Yeah.
mean.
I'm just
Stop
playing.
it.
You, no, I was just wondering, but
it's
oh
okay.
my goodness, I totally would have fallen for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've fallen for
I,
it in
uh,
the past.
You fallen for? What do you mean you fall for it in the past?
Well,
Like,
like buying followers.
oh, people bought followers and you
yeah.
thought it was real.
Right.
Yeah, like
Right.
at the very beginning of my Instagram.
Let me ask you something. So
That's what I
this
was
is not Ethan doesn't do this, but I've heard of guys that try to do OF collabs with girls, and then they fake their numbers on OnlyFans
Oh, yeah.
so that the
Oh.
girls. And I know girls that have come to me, and it's one of the funniest things because the girl then afterwards realizes that she ended up just having sex with some dude who had a large OF following, finds out that the OF following wasn't real, and she can't tell anyone. because of how bad it makes her look. Literally, I know 3 girls that have been on this show who have literally told me that they've done that before. And so that's what I was thinking about the fake clout, how crazy that is.
Oh my God, you can buy followers on.
No, you just take a screenshot and you just manipulate that. Oh, you literally tell ChatGPT.
Oh, really?
You just say, make my numbers. Say that I make 400,000 a month on OF, and then like these girls are just like literally leaving their husbands to go have sex with this dude on camera. It's crazy stuff like that.
So that's what I was gonna say.
Say it again, Lex.
I've had agencies do that, like say that, like show me big numbers or whatever. Say they have a big team, and then I work with them and realize it's one guy.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about like followers and stuff like that. If you know anything about analytics when it comes to like YouTube and stuff like that, followers, subscribers are all vanity metrics. The only thing they care about is like, what are your impressions? What is your click-through rate? And like, what is your like audience retention? Those are the only analytics that matter on like YouTube and like, especially for streaming. Like, when I see people who have like 8 million followers, I'm like, oh, great. And then you look at the views on their videos and it's like, they're in like the 20,000s. And like, dude, for you having that many subs, you should have way bigger.
I heard like if you get signed in any like music label, they actually buy your followers.
Well, they buy your view. So what they'll do is they'll pump up your Beatport or whatever,
like to like 1 million followers and 1 million views. So
it's pretty crazy. Now here's the thing that's really nuts is that like, so if I was doing a business deal, or if Ethan was, or if Rollo was, we would go do research. We would not get fooled by this. If somebody came to me and had 12 million followers, I'm like, bro, I've never heard of you before. I would go Google search terms. I would look up Social Blade, and then I'd look up engagement per app, and then I'd be able to tell. And by the way, sometimes like it's these guys who are like, they worked in solar and made a couple $1 million. They made a bunch of money in crypto, and they're trying to buy their way onto a bunch of podcasts. I don't mind that. That's a hustle. I'm not talking shit on people like that if you want to do it. The problem is it's these guys who like, because they didn't create their own following, they want to go on everybody else's show. That's hard because it doesn't help anyone. Does that make sense? Yeah. It doesn't help anyone. So the thing is, though, but the reason why I bring that up is because 99% of the time, no one does that. I see girls banging dudes who have fake Rolexes constantly, rented Lambos constantly, and my favorite one, Airbnb, some nice house, and my favorite one is those 23 women who wanted to sue this one guy who for impersonating Lionel Messi, and he slept with all of them.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and it's just like it's just so crazy to me. It's just like so. There's two things here. It doesn't paint humanity in the greatest light, but the other thing is when I have this discussion with people about whether or not status is real, status is not real. Status is only perceived. It's intersubjective reality. You all know Harari wrote a book about this intersubjective reality, meaning like if humans didn't exist, there would be no status.
Yeah,
right? If humans didn't exist, there'd still be rivers, lakes, and trees. But if humans didn't exist, there would be no status. Status only exists because it's it's a subjective. Well, it's a subjective belief between all of us, just like the value of the dollar. If there were no humans spending dollars, the dollar would have no value. We agree on a value for these different things. That the thing is, while it isn't real, it also is the most powerful thing in the world. And so what happens is lots of really, really stuck up, nerdy guys, like some of the guys at CES, they're like, I'm a better computer programmer. I should get a hotter girl because I'm good at computer. They think that because in the world of computer programming, for the most part, it is a meritocracy. Right? Not when you get into the marketing side of it, but it is a meritocracy. When it comes to the idea of dating, clout, status, it is not a meritocracy. It is whoever can fool the most people.
That's true.
Right? And the thing is, no matter how famous all of us are, Billy McFarland is probably more famous than all of us for throwing fucking Fire Festival and Fire Festival 2.
No, I don't like him. I actually hate Billy McFarland.
Yeah. Do you know him?
I know him personally. I hate him.
What did he do?
Well, it's not that he's actually a pathological liar.
No, I can't. Duh.
I've never met someone who can literally tell you. So we were going to do an influencer boxing match, and if things come up or we can't do the deal, that's fine. But then midway through, I think I posted a photo of me like flexing, and I was a D1 wrestler, so I feel like I had a little bit of an advantage. Like even though boxing is very different, I still think I could kick his ass. But then he tried to change it to kickboxing, something he had years of experience for. And like midway through I got a boxing trainer, and like I was preparing for this fight. And then he goes, oh, what do you mean? I always said that we were doing kickboxing. I'm like, no, we were on a call with people that all heard this. And these people are on the call. Yeah. And he had no shame lying to everybody. Everybody knowing he's lying. No, I agree to kickboxing. I'm like, why did I hire a boxing coach if we're doing kickboxing? Yeah. Like you're obviously just like a complete fraud. This man, when I saw that he was doing Fire Festival 2 or whatever he was doing, I said, this guy is going to fail on everything he does because he has no integrity. I mean, literally, like he's a psychopath with no integrity.
Of course. Agreed. But you know what it is in his mind, because he's like, I'm robbing from Peter to pay Paul. I meet guys like this that work in business all the time. What I'm going to do is go to guy A and then promise him guy B's money, and then I'm going to go to guy B and promise him guy A's money. And then while I'm doing that, because I know this is going to work, I'm not lying technically, right? And so the funding never shows up, and then he has no one to blame, and then he's like, well, it's someone else's fault except for mine.
People give them a lot of credit. Just one thing I want to say about like these types of scammers in this world is that they get a lot of credit. Like we had Netflix, this, and it takes very little work to fake like spreadsheets. Like we have this revenue coming in, and doing that does not make you a smarter person. And they get credit for that for some reason. Like if I have a lot of credit among like investors and like high net worth individuals, if I faked income from my new business or whatever, they would give me more money, but I would go to jail eventually for lying to my investors. There is no honor here for this. And he gets too much credit for it.
Can you talk about this? So one of the things that inspired you was there was a kid who took the HTML version of his Instagram and then he changed the numbers on there. So he just took the screen to copied it, and then he just changed the numbers on there, so it made it look like he had like millions of followers, which got him into different events and stuff.
So I was living in New York City, and I had this idea. So it was like COVID just hit, right? And I moved to Florida, and I knew this kid who was like, oh yeah, I did this video of like I changed my Instagram based on like the web page, and I made it look like I had more viewers, or more followers, so I can get into a club. And I had this like, what was that?
To get into a club?
Get into a club, yeah. So I had this like idea of like, okay, that seems interesting. And then I didn't know anything about live streaming. I just started doing social media, had no followers. And then I saw like this live streaming thing on TikTok. I'm like, oh, I could make an app that looks just like that. And I could probably go out and like people probably let me in the clubs. So I built it in like 15 minutes. I built it. I went out that night, and it was just like people lost their freaking mind.
It worked too well.
It was unsafe how well it worked, right?
It would work even better, I would say, in an Asian market.
Oh yeah.
Having just competed in Cambodia last year, it is fascinating. And I spent about 6 months also in Shanghai. This is about a decade apart, but it is fascinating, especially now that we're in this. We were just talking about social media fatigue, right? That is non-existent there. They don't care if the metrics are faked. They don't care if your followers are bought. They don't care if you have little engagement. It's just all show.
It's kayfabe.
I had a question for the table. Kayfabe. I got recently, there was like this brand deal that I got, and it was just pretty small. It was smaller, but I told them, I said, look, my analytics haven't been up. I really haven't been on social media lately. I said, I go on podcasts when I can, I said, but this past year I've just went through a lot. So I kind of was hermit. And what do you say about people who have a ton of ghost followers, but like ghosts, like people are looking, like they said, let me see the analytics. And I showed them, and they're like, you have a lot of people looking at your account, but they're not doing anything. Like, and I was like, but then they still gave it to me because of that. What is that? Why do I've always had that.
Well, I mean,
what is that?
I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, it's because of probably what you do for a living. Like they don't want to be openly. So I get this. Okay. So I get this all the time. So I'll have people, I have this one guy who works for the Knights, and he's one of the, well, I'm not going to say what he does because you can figure out who he is in 2 seconds. He works for the Golden Knights, and he comes up to me and he goes, hey man, I just want to let you know, like, I love your, he's like, I can't take a picture with you. I love your stuff. My wife hates it. I just want to let you know, like, I share your shit all the time, but I can't like it. And this other guy, he's a doctor. He lives in Southern California, and he does eyelids, and he comes up to me and goes, hey man, you know how you were saying there's all these people who don't like your content, but they share it? It's like, I'm one of those people. Like, I share your content with my friends, but I can't like it or post it because it's just going to get me in trouble
with the association.
So there's still value in ghost following.
Yeah,
it's just because they're for some reason they're like you said,
like it doesn't make any sense. I don't have that much engagement or that many likes. I go out and I get recognized constantly. I'm like, something is broken here because there's no way that I get recognized this much. But if I don't have that, I don't get that much engagement. And then the guys are all telling me, it's like, yeah, my wife doesn't want me to fucking do this.
So you're like a discreet, like a, what do they call it? Like a closet joy.
No, I'm like dating a fat girl, and like you don't want your friends to see. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what I am.
Like if you're a girl, you have a lot of guy followers, and then they're not gonna like your stuff because they're married or they got girlfriends, So most of the times I'm like, I got so many views and so many hearts on my views, but my likes on my reels,
nothing, no comment.
But the views are there. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's going on?
That's what I was wondering. I was like, is there like what's going on? Yeah, I know you're right. I actually didn't I didn't draw that 2 and 2 together until
So there was this guy, and I have trouble calling him an influencer because I don't know exactly what the guy did, but like this was back in like 2014, I think. And the guy would go and he would be followed around by 2 guys. You had one guy who was a cameraman who followed him around, and he had a guy who was sort of like supposed to be his handler. He was just acting as his handler. And they would, this was like a social experiment, but the guy was like getting like girls' phone numbers and stuff as a result of this. But you go and you walk around the mall, and the guy would have like a video camera. Wasn't even doing anything with the video camera, right?
Bro, you need to stop telling my secrets.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? And so what would happen is he would go, and then they had a third party guy that was actually
all the MOA guys right now are like, why is Rolo snitching on all of us?
Snitching on you all.
Yeah.
But so he would go to the mall, right?
Yeah.
And he would suddenly like say, oh, that's so and so, like Mike Jones or something like that.
Yeah.
He's in the new Spider-Man movie. Right. That's all. That's all that had to happen. And then, so all these girls who would go from place to place or whatever, he was walking around, and they would like literally line up to get an autograph, and they get pictures taken with the guy. Right. Then the guy said this works and it did. It worked so well that they took it to New York in Times Square. Did exactly the same thing, and they had guys like even guys. That's why I asked you like, how many guys have fallen for this? Because it's one thing like we go, okay, well, the girls want to be attracted to a guy who's a famous actor kind of thing. I got that. It's like sort of like this fantasy of celebrity. But there were guys that would come up to him and go, hey, do you know who that guy is? Like just to see if the social experiment's working. And go, oh yeah, that's Mike Jones. He's a great actor. Blah, blah, blah. And he's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie or something like that. And they would literally be getting selfies with this guy because they wanted to be associated with this guy. And the thing is so like what you're saying before is this. I mean, technically it's social proof, and I guess amongst women it would be pre-selection, but it's easy to manufacture. Even back in 2014, when we didn't have the kind of social media that we have today, even back then it still worked. So the reason I was asking about the guys is because it's not just chicks. Like people go, oh yeah, well, chicks are just dumb. They will never, they'll follow around, whatever. No, guys will do it too. And they'll go, because if they're hanging out with you, then that's the clout is like, drops pixie dust on you or something.
Guys are sometimes really worse. And what I've learned actually is so fascinating is like when people want selfies or photos, and I've also hung out with like people that I think are like celebrities or at least known. A lot of times it's not because they love that. I used to think like, oh, you want a photo with someone because you like their work, and that's what it was. It's actually like we don't really even care about your work. It's actually I just want to be seen with you because I know people will appreciate that. They'll think I'm cooler because I'm with this person. And I never knew that was a thing until like I saw it firsthand.
Yeah, they're stunting on their friends from high school. It's
exactly.
Like, hey, I'm here at a better party with cooler people than you are. And then because of that, now I get more status. And then their friends like, oh, look she's acting all brand new. It's like, yeah, but you're watching. That's the point. It's like you're watching. Like having people talk shit about you, bro. At first it bothers you. Like when you write a book or start a podcast or whatever, and then after a while you just start seeing the correlation with, especially if you have niche content. A lot of people are just going to disagree with what you have to say. Yeah.
Never to your face though.
Guys, what do you think about all this?
I agree. I agree. I do live streaming on TikTok, and there's a lot of politics in it with who has motion, who has views, who has people who actually engage in their live stream. And it's a lot like that. That's just with the live streaming. And I can say that too. I mean, I don't know about your guys' platforms, but I'm assuming we all have pretty huge platforms. And I feel like with that, people do treat you differently. They do want to hang out with you. They do want to be your friend just off of that alone. And sometimes it's hard to tell what's genuine, what's not.
You become like a mini celebrity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we live in that time of people want to be noticed. And if they can hang out with you and get the attention that they want.
Yeah, totally.
Then they're going to latch onto you.
Yeah. It's kind of sad to me though. It feels very just low identity behavior. Right. Because you feel like, okay, well, I haven't accomplished enough. So let me try to kind of rub elbows with somebody. And I think that's all well and good if it's like truly well-intentioned, but probably 0.01% of those interactions are well-intentioned.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in people who are celebrities. Like I met Dave Chappelle twice and I wanted to meet him because I thought he was funny. Right. I didn't care that he was a celebrity. I'm friends with Jeremy Piven, the actor, but I'm friends with him because he's hilarious and he's really good. I don't care that he's famous. Most of the time we hang out, I don't even take pictures. My buddy last night, Anthony Mackie, was at the guy who plays the new Captain America. He was at a Marquee on Monday. And my buddy was out there talking to him, and also John Boyega. I don't know if you know who he is. Yeah. He's been out with us before, and I'm just like, it's one of these situations where, like, when I'm listening to him, I'm interested in the fact that these guys are really good. Like Ethan is really sharp. That some of the ideas he came up with are incredible. Go ahead.
Question, Anthony Mackie, because I think I follow that actor's journey. is this his first like major? He's the major one in the role.
I don't know.
Because
I haven't watched the one
because I believe that like so they have this thing where they said like certain actors like in order to stay in media they never take the number one role. They always try to take the other roles. And that's a career thing, so that later down the line they can get
strategy.
Maybe.
And I was wondering because that sounds so familiar.
Yeah,
coattailing
it. Yeah, and then all of a sudden they've been there so long, they're just there now.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he's a Marvel superhero, so that's about as big as you're going to get.
Yeah.
I got a quick comment here from this guy. I just want because I was going to get to this anyways. And it's a good segue. So he says it's extremely pathetic to be dependent on external validation instead of internal agency. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
The irony is that you're saying that on a YouTube comment, bro. Like think about like use some self-awareness. Like that's the people saying get off social media on a social media app. Like that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm not trying to dress the guy down because this is what I get a lot, and God bless him. I love me some Justin Waller, but Justin Waller would be like one of these guys who say, well, you got to be authentic and you got to have your you like be about it and like don't worry about like for you he'd be like, why would you not like actually like why wouldn't you want to be a real famous podcaster instead of faking to be one and looking for like the validation outside of actually earning like paying your dues and learning your chops and
your
everything
impetus
like that.
is totally different though.
But yeah, it is. But like I was going to say is the reason why a lot of guys, and I understand the sentiment here, the reason why guys who have actually done the work and busted their ass to get to where they are because they're like, well, I want to make sure that I've got $1 million in the bank. I've got to have 6-pack abs. I've got to be 6 feet tall. I got to maximize everything. I've got to be that fucking guy. And they do, and they get there. And then they see that like a guy like you walking around the club and saying you're just dragging women with you all over the place. But it's like, it's not based on anything that they've done, like doing the real work. Right. And so, and I understand where that is. But the thing is I can also have to say this is that, like he was saying, value is perceptual. So it doesn't matter as long as the illusion seems real enough. That's all that really matters. I think that's what pisses them off because they've done all this work and busted their ass and are authentically about it.
They think it's a meritocracy.
They think it's like time on the clock, and it's like no, it's not time on the clock. It's being a clever motherfucker.
I'll actually make it even worse. Actually, it's so funny because like, make no mistake here, guys. I didn't make this app to try and get laid. I don't think I've ever slept with any of these girls in these videos. I make the app to make viral videos. And then the app itself, it works. It truly does work. You pull out the app and girls go crazy. But the app made millions of dollars, and I was able to like not work ever again because of it. So for me, it was more like I had this funny idea. I wanted to be a social media like person because I wanted to stop working at TikTok where I was an engineer, and I saw how many people wanted to be like live streamers. So I was like, okay, wait, I can probably make something here. And I made the product, and yeah, like I do market it in a way that goes super viral. But in the end, like the person is like, oh, I did all this hard work. Like, why does this guy have all this success? It's like, well, I actually figured out a way for someone to have this immediate like it used to be only celebrities ever experience this idea of people like gnawing for their attention. Like, who is this person, right? Celebrities would do this, right? Celebrities get this affection. Well, now for the first time ever, you can download an app and get that experience and that most people, like 99% population, have never had, right?
Yes.
So that was the innovation that people like just don't get. And that's one thing I've noticed is like if you're a creative person and you have a creative process, people will never, if you stop me midway through a video I'm making or a concept I'm building, and I told you what I was doing, you'd be like, you're going to do what? You're going to fake a live stream? Like, you're fucking crazy. But then when they see the final product, they're like, oh, that's genius, right? And that just tells you who's like really creative and who gets it and who's just like a consumer, right?
Yeah, when if you were to explain the idea of this app to me before seeing those videos, I would have believed you that it would have worked. Just because I've seen
you get it.
Because I'm also in the like clout chasing capital of Earth, right? I'm in Las Vegas, right? And so that's that. When you explain the idea, I'm like, that is the most. I'm stupid for not even doing this. That's pretty incredible. Ladies, who here you've made a decision in your life based on your astrological sign or a guy's astrological? Can you guys raise your hand? Any of you
made a decision? So, like a major one?
So we're all gonna lie here, huh?
I'm too Croatian for that.
I'm stubborn. I think I've gotten a life like reading and stuff by I got a life reading and it all sounded super correct. But the problem is like I have like a defiant personality. So like I'm gonna like he was like, you need to put these in your windows and this and that. And I'm like, I know. And that was like a year ago. Like, and I should have done it and I didn't do it.
Yeah. Well, except for the part that astrology is complete bullshit. Now
it's real. Kings used to have it.
Wait. I got the perfect video.
We've tilted. also astrologically.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Zodiac girls. Here we go.
Girls in here into astrology? Couple of you. I can tell you're white. I want to do a test. I feel like so many people who are into astrology don't know what the f- their signs actually mean. So I'm going to read two of the most popular ones. And I want you to clap if you think I'm reading your signs. Most birthdays fall on these two. The first one is charismatic leader, driven forward by a sense of personal destiny, often their weaknesses are perceived as strengths, and tough-minded. Clap if you think that might be yours.
Libra?
Yeah.
I thought Libra.
Astrology girl, okay. Second one, more birthdays are on this one. Interested in creating art, sometimes seen as impulsive, also does not think about themselves and their own advantage, but solely or the good of the people around them. Clap,
That's Libra. That's Libra.
Couple girls over here, couple girls over here. The rest of you, okay, so most of you passed because neither of those are astrology signs. It's the biography of Hitler. So.
I said that. Oh my God. Well, that okay. Well, I don't know about him, but
oh my God, that's so great.
But I do have a question.
You brought
though.
up that whenever you, like an astrology girlie is on the show and you ask like you
I lean into it.
Like,
we had a girl screaming at me because I was like, hey, there's no data to back astrology. Anyway, guys, before we go on, what did you do with astrology?
Oh my God, yeah. So I was like, again, my content on the internet is like, I see stupid ideas and I want to like make fun of them. I'm sorry for any of the astrology people here, but I created a website because I was on like dating apps in like 2022 and I was like, all these girls have their astrology sign in their bio. So I made a website where you can put in any two signs and AI generates a bullshit reason for why they're compatible. And it creates a web page and a link. And I would send it to girls on Hinge. I say, hey, I just put in your sign into this site, Soulmate Comparison. I own the site. And it looks like we're compatible. And I oh my God, I put this on the internet and every guy is now using it, or at least they were. And more of the story.
Shit crack works, man.
Yeah, it's like, if you're gonna believe dumb shit, then I guess I can use it against you. Is that bad? Am I a bad person?
No,
I'm sorry.
Because if you don't, someone else will.
I play to win. I play to win.
I guess for my question is, Lauren, would that have worked on you?
What's your sign?
Wait, would I?
Leo. I'm a Leo. Everyone is a Leo.
Real quick, would that have worked on you?
Oh, if that he showed me the app, like, and I mean, I don't think that would have worked on me.
This is absurd. You guys are absurd. That absolutely would have worked on you.
Maybe if I have to like know people now because I'm kind of weird and like I don't have a high retention rate. But then I have this weird thing too. Ghost following tied in. I have two things to say. I think it's cool that you do that because it's kind of like a science thing because people can actually like see like scientifically like what is going on here. Of like, okay, like how people are reacting, like the social experiment kind of thing. Another thing is, again, with, everybody has their own different vibes, but like, I'm super curious is with ghost following and like super following, what is the rate of sales between them both? Are they equal? Are they?
It's a completely different discussion, but it has to do with influence versus fame. Like somebody like so. For instance, I'll give you an example. Brittany Renner is famous for sleeping with a bunch of dudes and then getting pregnant by PJ Washington and having a baby and writing a book about it. Mm-hmm. Alex Hormozi is famous for helping several thousand people become millionaires.
Yeah.
Alex Hormozi and Brittany Renner are about the same level of fame. Wow. Alex Hormozi is 100x more influential. Alex Hormozi got like tens of thousands of people to buy his book. That's the difference. So influence versus fame. I can get a room full of people. Yeah, I can get a room full of people to buy a high ticket program. I've done it. I sell from stage. Most influencers that I know, especially like really pretty IG models, if they were to come and try to do my job with the podcasting or whatever, they would just fall on their face because they can't. So they become a DJ. That's what they do. That's something. They end up doing something like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's more fame. Physical. That's fame without influence. Okay, influence is different. So that's a really great thing. And it was actually Alex Hormozi who talks about this. Alex Hormozi he's influential to me. Every time he buys a book, no hesitation, I'm going to buy. If we wrote 10 books this year, I'd buy all 10 and read them.
Well, yeah, that's the first thing that I thought when I thought I'm like, like this stuff does need to be like kind of looked at in that scientific way so people could kind of see human behavior, like, but
I think we all know it in our gut. I don't think that we necessarily need the social experiment. It's cool to watch for sure. And I think your cleverness.
But it's not just social experiment. It's the part about the astrological signs making them all match, and then girls falling for this.
I would have fallen for the astrologicals.
That's my point. I know you would. I know you would.
For the astrological, but not for the. I thought it was for the
live streaming.
The live streaming one. Okay, I would have fallen for the astrological.
You would have fallen for both. I promise.
False.
Well, there's
what's the first thing you read in the morning? For me, it's not astrology. It's the Wall Street Journal. I wouldn't have. Like if someone showed me that, I would have been like, I don't care. Like, great, we're compatible, but like in your like
matter to you because you don't. Yeah,
I don't place value on it.
I'm gonna tell Ethan why he's very successful. Okay, it's what's called the Forer effect. Okay, have you heard of them? It's also called the PT, like the Barnum effect. P.T. Barnum. Are you familiar with P.T. Barnum? He started the circus, like a sucker's born every minute, right? That kind of stuff. Okay, so the Forer effect is also known as the Barnum effect. It is the psychological tendency for people to accept vague general personality descriptions as uniquely accurate for themselves, even though the statements could apply to anyone, like those found in horoscopes or generic personality tests. Named after the psychologist Bertram Forer, it explains why individuals find broad statements such as, at times you doubt yourself, or you have a great need for other people to like you, to be personally meaningful and specific, often enhanced by positive framing or perceived authority.
That I never. Wow.
Yes, it's psychological. It's called the Forer effect.
Incredible. Do you want to get to?
But I can't leave this one alone. This is too good. I got to follow up to that. Those were Zodiac girls. This is Zodiac boys.
Okay.
I'm a Virgo. I told Lisa this, so I overthink everything.
Oh my god. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. Exactly. Why would a guy ever speak up about star sign? Do you discuss it with your bros when you meet up? I don't think he's into women.
And I'm an empath, so I feel things very deeply. I'm an artist, but I don't like putting brushstrokes over people.
Oh, what the does that mean?
Like,
are you kidding me?
Painting a picture.
I do like her so much. I like how blunt she is, and she just cuts him off and be like, oh my god, just shut up.
I don't understand anything he's saying right now.
You could call people a faucet the way they're trained.
Do men like this exist?
Yes, I mean this is the thing, man. This is the female panderer, the woman panderer on social media. This is the guy who's just like oh, for no reason just starts saying I hate red pill content, like, but when nobody asked him. That guy right there, he's trying to win by being this overly sensitive guy. Why? Because he's been taught that through pop psychology and watching all these other podcasts.
Astrology is something you should say you believe in, and if you want to get laid.
And it's generally really good looking guys who do this because they have a little bit more success when it comes to this. But yeah, it's really funny. I have said this before. There is no one who harasses women more inappropriately than a guy who calls himself a male feminist. No one, the greatest sexual harassers of women on the world are all
Mike. He's an empath.
They're all Justin Baldoni. They're all they're the worst because they're sneaky fuckers. They're like trying to sneak in there and just be like
cuttlefish.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just so great. Like, I love women. You want to know what I do because I love women? I tell them the truth. I'm not going to tell them this shit. And that's because I love them. I tell people that I love the truth. And these guys just come in there and like, oh, your boyfriend, you had a dream that your boyfriend cheated on you. You should break up with him. Like, the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, we're just destroying families because these dudes are on here being like, you should just give your girl all the money. There's a male loneliness epidemic just because these guys are losers. I'm like, bro, men are taking their lives 9 times the rate as women. And you just think that it's funny? Like, it's crazy to me. These guys get 100,000x the views that we get. But we're telling the truth, man. That's the part that sucks.
Mike, are you drinking light beer?
No, that was okay. I've never actually had a beer in my life, to be fair. Really? Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Siege says this question for the ladies: would you lose attraction for a guy if he was jacked and muscular, but he's diabetic and has a glucose monitor on the arm? I've seen a few guys at the gym.
No, actually, it's a new health thing where people are trying to go to sleep with their blood sugar as low as possible so that it burns calories while they're sleeping. They go into ketosis. There's nobody gives a shit about a glucose monitor on your arm, man. No, I don't think anybody would care. It's for those of you who've seen, it's right here in your bicep. It's a little white circle. They stick right here. That's how they do the glucose monitor.
Hey guys, I just wanted to throw a shout out. I wish I was there. But I'm working, showing some support from over the road.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Appreciate it, brother.
And then Siege says Sartain thinks astrology is BS, but Rolo has discussed astrology crack could be used to a guy's advantage. But when does it get manipulative? when it stops being a shtick.
I'll tell you when it gets manipulative. Like the problem is if I were to tell you, if you're a woman and I straight up tell you that what I'm doing is manipulative because astrology isn't real, you still don't believe me because you believe astrology is real.
True.
So it's one of these things like, how can I be manipulative if I even told you how I'm doing the trick? Because you would then have to admit that astrology is bullshit, which you can't do. So as far as I'm concerned, it's never manipulative. That's never manipulative.
Well, like you were mentioning before, like when we're on the show, like sometimes I in the early days, we would always get into this. You can't talk about like UFOs.
Wait,
you can't talk about
what?
You can't talk about UFOs, astrology, tarot cards, what is it? Love languages. What else is there? I'm trying to think of the others. Woo. Oh, chakras. I've had my chakras read on the show before.
Really?
Wait, can you not do this on YouTube?
No, you can.
No,
it's fun. But we used to
you'll do incredible.
So we used to be
incredible.
like, because like every time he listens, like, this is bullshit. And I'm just like, you know what, maybe we should lean into this a little bit more. And so like whenever it comes up, I'm like, I did this one experiment one time, and I said, we had 10 girls. It was at the old studio, and I said, if you guys are so into astrology, I said, what's my sign?
Yeah.
And there's 10 of them around there. And what are there, 12 zodiac signs?
There's 13, but
13.
Nobody,
yeah. So we go around 10.
Nobody counts a fucus.
Not one of them got it right. And I go, statistically, you should have guessed it by now. You know.
Yeah.
And so what does that tell you? And it was at that point, whenever somebody brings up some sort of woo-woo magical thinking, I'm like, oh, really? Tell me more about it. You know,
so like I'm a fucus.
Bring it in. Yeah. Bring it in.
The 13th sign.
Yes. Yeah, but make up something that's
no. A fucus is the 13th sign that nobody claims. There was a 13th sign.
There was.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to do next?
Just let's do this one right here. Let's go to.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, there you go.
Let's try the audio again.
I do not have audio on this.
Okay, looks like it didn't download it. Then let's just go to this one right here.
I feel so connected to the world when I watch TikTok videos. Is that weird? Like I feel like connected to my society. Like I don't know. Like it's weird. I wish it was there years ago.
That's how it sucks you in.
Yeah.
Theory, and this goes back to that article that came out where it said that having a boyfriend is embarrassing. I am very certain, and I've been treating this like a case study. I've been observing, collecting data, but the only women who are in long-term relationships are the ones who have a high tolerance for mediocrity. And people love to say that in our day and age, love is dead and that people used to make it work. My grandma and grandpa were together 52 years. My grandma loved my grandpa dearly, but she did everything. Whenever I see a long-term couple work it out, it is because that woman is doing everything and she has done the mental gymnastics to accept the bare minimum. She has convinced herself that she either doesn't want those things that she used to want, or she has made some kind of justification in her sacrifice, in being the matriarch. In any of these long-term relationships, I never see where the woman gets a better deal. I see where the man gets essentially an indentured servant. He gets free labor, free childcare, free cooking, free cleaning, and she gets him. And I would say the best case scenario, she maybe doesn't have to work, but in most of the scenarios, she is also working and she is doing all of the housework. I'm sure there is a very small majority that maybe has one of the good ones, as you guys would love to say, but I don't even trust you guys because I see the mental gymnastics that you do to live in that cognitive dissonance because no one wants to admit that they are accepting the bare minimum. No one's going to admit that they're unhappy, or else honestly you would have a psychotic break. You would probably kill yourself. But for most, and when I sit down with my friends and I hear actually what's going on in their relationship, what it is built on is extreme codependence. It is the woman who has her childhood wounds, who painfully desires to be picked, who is in absolute survival mode, whose cortisol is shot up so high that it has literally shut down her prefrontal cortex to even be able to think, to see that there is a life that could be peaceful without this man. She can barely make decisions. And I've just accepted at this point, my tolerance is so low. I truly used to think I was someone, I was like, I'm going to have 5 kids. I'm going to get married one day. I thought I really desired that, but I'm just like, how could I ever give up this peace? Whenever I'm with a man, I'm crying. My nervous system is out of whack. And even for the good ones, let's say not a narcissist, not a chronic abuser, their emotional intelligence is just not there. They're not that interesting. They're not that smart. They're naturally selfish. They're gluttonous. I cannot stand a man. I will never have a man in my house again eating my food. See what I mean? My tolerance, There's no way. And I'm like, for the women who are having a man live in their house, that are eating their snacks, that are being selfish, that you are having to teach them basic concepts like empathy, that you are doing their laundry and cleaning up after them. But I just feel like it has to be the only way to make it work. Wow. And I'm opting out. I'm opting out of that contract.
Again.
Okay, I'm just curious, one at a time. What do you guys think about that? Well, Lux, what do you think?
What did I think about it? I don't really know. So I don't know. Kind of give me a recap about it.
Do you agree? Kaisha, what did you think?
I could definitely see how she feels like that. I mean, relationships are a job, and I do believe that it depends on individual. I mean, who knows what type of person if she's giving her perspective, she's giving it off of whoever she's talking about.
Interesting. That's a really good point. Yes.
I don't think that goes for the mass. I mean, everybody's relationship is something different.
That is very enlightened of you. What do you think?
When she said small majority, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't
maybe silent majority.
She meant small minority.
Small minority. Okay, I lost her after that part. But this girl's an idiot. So yeah, I mean, I think she had some points here about like, bad men. Like everyone has a story about a bad person in their life.
But if I were to go to her and say, hey, did you know that most men aren't narcissists or abusers? She'd be like, that's not true.
Right.
That's
her reality.
Because that's the reality that she lives in.
Also, like you can hire a maid; they're very cheap, and you can also hire like nannies. Like I feel like if I have kids, like I'm gonna have a nanny for the nighttime and daytime, and like my wife isn't gonna wake up at 3 a.m.
Not everyone can afford that.
Yeah, it's fine, but like my reality is like, okay, that's not I don't know what she's talking about, right? Yes. So it's like to me, I'm like, okay, I can't get it.
What do you think?
I wholeheartedly disagree based on my experiences. I'd have to agree with you that I think it's wherever she's coming from, it is entirely her experience. I think it's unfair to blanket paint sexes, like the genders, in one light or another. Just like women don't like to be painted a certain way, I don't think it's very fair that we do the same to men.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that they're like, I kind of related to some of the things that she said. Like, I think in relationships, I noticed that I kind of did some things. I was a little more self-sacrificial than maybe I should have, but I didn't mind doing it. Like, and I don't have any anger, like, like any, what do you call it? Resentment because of it. Cause I'm like, that's just how I was. But, I think that when, I don't know, like you said, kind of like that might've been her situation. So that could be a little different.
Anybody else?
Yeah. I told my mom and my dad because they've been together for a long time, but they have.
She's an indentured slave. Then is what you're saying.
I told my mom, I was like, you guys need to be very strong in the heart and strong in the mind because it's really hard to have a relationship.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to propose a different opinion, and I'm not going to talk about her reality or my reality.
Okay.
In reality, she's full of shit, and the reason why she's full of shit is because probably at some point she became an intolerant person to date, and because of that, she got the worst out of men, and so now everyone's an abuser and a narcissist. I know so many women who are in happy relationships with men, and like I said before, I clean my place all the time. I try, like especially keeping up with my pets, but I hire a fucking maid. There's no reason. And my girlfriend comes over, and I have my mobile detail unit come and detail her car like as a surprise. This is nonsense. It's a new trend on TikTok that having a boyfriend is an embarrassment. That's essentially what they're doing. Yeah. And so because she believes this, and partially, where did she probably get this from? It probably came from a time in her. Time in her early 20s when she was just like going after one super hot guy after another and losing the ability to pair bond. And so now what happens is because she's become so intolerant for us to deal with, for a man to deal with, her response is instead of dealing with the rejection and the fact that she's probably not a good person to be in a relationship with, all men are abusers, all men are gluttonous, all men are liars, or even the vast majority are gluttonous and it's just utter and complete nonsense. Do you guys know most men don't cheat? No, women who only date guys who drive Ferraris and live in Miami don't believe when I say this. Most women don't cheat. Most men don't cheat. Most men aren't abused. The vast majority of men are not physical or verbal abusers. This is shocking. Women's ears are burning right now listening to me. How dare you say this? That's not my reality, Michael. I don't give a fuck about your reality. I give a fuck about the reality. And in me reality, what's happened is when I see this very often is I'll deal with a woman who's dealt with a lot of trauma. It's not her fault. I understand she's dealt with a lot of trauma. And now it's every man from this point forward's fault for why she's having to deal with this trauma. I know, like you, just like what you said, bro, a nanny and a fucking housekeeper. Stop with this nonsense about you're doing most of the work. I order out every night. This is crazy, man. I have the girls that I date, I help build their businesses. It's nuts when I hear this shit. And I know a ton of guys that are just like this. She is full of cope, and I understand why, because she's been hurt. And I love women because I haven't been hurt. My experiences with the opposite sex have been nothing but positive. Yeah. So I don't have the same opinion. But it's not that I don't have the same opinion because it doesn't work. It's that I meet guys. So for instance, when you talk about you would make a girl's life easier. That girl, as long as you maintain boundaries, that girl would be a nightmare for some other guy, but she's going to be an angel for you because you have status and maintain boundaries. That's the other part. These men that she's having problems with, I promise you, if she was a non-masculine girl who's trying to get a bunch of attention on social media, she might find a good guy. But hey, don't listen to me because I'm just some fucking like knuckle dragging misogynist who just says, I mean, it's just so crazy to me, like to put everybody in this category.
You first. Sorry, you guys first.
So what's crazy about this, and I experienced this personally. I mean, I was in a relationship for the last 6 months, and then we recently broke up. And it was like I would actually get sent these videos from her, and it was like, oh my, it was like something like
from her, Jesus,
while you were dating,
while we're dating, and I'm not gonna like say bad things. I'm just gonna say like this has infested so many people's minds, and it's like this idea that like men are bad. Having a boyfriend is embarrassing was a concept that like she didn't say it, but I could feel it, right? So I took her to Costa Rica like on the first month of us dating, and I was like, we're gonna go to Costa Rica, we're gonna have a great time. And I said, you're not coming to the resort unless you post me on your Instagram story. And I had to force it. I had to like really like put my foot down. And
hard launch.
And before we were even dating, I posted her on my Instagram story because I wanted to be like, hey, look, like I'm just gonna show you I'm coming forth with like I'm serious, right? And it just really rubbed me the wrong way when she did it, and I had to force it. Ultimately, it didn't work out. She's a great person, you know, whatever. But the point is that like there were signs, and in the end, like I think this is much more damaging for women for their own happiness long term.
Well, I remember. Okay, so all of these videos are coming sort of in the wake of this one. I want to say it was an article. I want to say it was in the Atlantic, and it was about how young women were embarrassed to have a boyfriend. And let me tell you, everybody took that and they ran with it. Everybody had that was just content fodder for everybody because they just wanted to turn something out. And so on one of our shows, we were even talking about this earlier. Scott Galloway jumped in on this, was like, oh yeah, it's because men aren't living up to their, women's expectations. And if they would just be better men, then they would, then women wouldn't be embarrassed of them. And then you got this girl right here who's saying she's got such impossibly high standards that it must be some sort of glitch in the matrix or something that she just can't find the right guy or whatever. And the long and the short of it is that we live in a social media age right now. If women post a picture of a guy, they lose market share on Instagram. Simple as fucking that. That's all there is. You go and you take one picture of you with the guy on a beach somewhere. That's why you do the soft launch, right? You got it's just the hands together, or it's like you're on the beach, and you're not introducing the guy, because the minute that they introduce the guy, it dispels every illusion, every exactly.
Other girls,
some people get threats of violence.
Well, that's so what works for women on OnlyFans, on Instagram, on Twitter, on any kind of especially Instagram, but any kind of social media that's sort of based on getting you're measuring your ego in likes, followers, hearts, whatever the fuck it is, right? As soon as you post the picture of that guy with you, all that drops off. And women know this instinctually. That's why they won't do. Even married women who are like, there's always this side-by-side comparison. It's like you got Ronaldo, you got Messi, you got like the soccer players who are like the top soccer players in the world. You look at their Instagram and they're on a family vacation. The chick is there. She's like this gorgeous supermodel, right? It's his wife and their kids are there and he's there and they're smiling on the beach somewhere. On her Instagram, same beach, just her in a bikini laying back in the surf, right? That's because it's this. It's they're selling you the illusion of sexual availability, and as soon as that's dispelled, gone.
Here's the other issue here is that when the woman posts her man, he starts to get attention from other women.
Yes, that happens too.
Right, and
so it a little differently. Sorry to interrupt you, but what I learned, so I was a dancer here in Vegas for 12 years, and what I learned when someone came into the club, they were there to to have a connection. So with that, we touched their shoulder, we touched their leg, we did that through touch.
Yeah.
And so now through online, those guys still want that connection with that woman. So that's why they don't want to see it with another man, because they want to see themselves with it.
Yeah, they have
of course. Yeah, I mean, it's the male fantasy,
Like,
right?
did you hear about that Liz the Wizard?
Yeah, Wizard Liz.
Yeah, Wizard Liz. Did you hear her story
About her getting cheated on?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is, like, the guy was writing songs about her. Of course he's going to cheat. He's the guy she was with was in every possible way a male feminist. He's exactly who I'm talking about. The biggest harassers and gaslighters of women are men who call themselves male feminists. Wow. I love women. I think women, I am all for women succeeding in the world. But I don't call myself a feminist because I understand what that is not egalitarian. What that word means is that it's the subjugation of men for the benefit of women, and it's not based in reality. And so because of that, like, I tell, again, if I love someone, I tell them the truth. If these guys, they don't love you because they're lying to you, they're gaslighting the shit out of. No one the biggest gaslighter of women on the entire internet is a guy named Chris GQ Perry. Millions and millions of followers, just basically blatantly lying to women about what they should expect from men. It is the most amazing shit I've ever seen. And when I look at it and see that his engagement is 100,000x mine, I just realize the uphill battle I have. However, I guarantee you, I can sell more high ticket courses than he can because I can show receipts and results and scientific evidence. He can't, because what he's saying is hokum astrology nonsense. Do you want to go to another one?
Yeah, I got
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, let me see if do you agree with this?
Bicep vein is the McLaren in the body. Elaborate on that.
When you show up in a McLaren, whether you like nice cars or not, it communicates something about who you are. It's funny because I think if you see somebody say something or do something like that, you either go irritated or inspired, one or the other. Most people get irritated because they rather reject the potential of them ever getting it, because they don't ever want to think they could, because then they know they didn't, if that makes sense. For me, the bicep vein is the same thing. When I used to look at somebody that was shredded and low body fat percentage, I used to think dumb stuff like they probably have no fun, they probably are militant, I bet they have no friends, I bet they spend their whole lives in the gym. Like, I made up all these stories about what I thought that meant that were not true. I told myself those stories to keep it not something achievable, because if I actually knew the truth, which is the opposite of what I just said, then I would have to admit that it's just my decision not to.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's definitely very true. It's like people, I have some friends of mine who are online coaches or whatever, and they're all of them are called a scammer. Not for any reason. You ask, okay, why is this guy a scammer? What did he promise he didn't deliver on? And there's nothing. But the problem is the idea that one person could teach another. What happens if I can take a course and I can learn how to become viral from, let's say Ethan teaches a course. If I learned how to become viral and it was legit and I paid him money and he taught me or whatever, from that point forward, every single person who didn't become viral, now they don't have the excuse anymore. Yeah. And so now, because I've taken away your excuse, that's when the real hatred comes. The true unadulterated hatred comes when you prove someone wrong or you take away their victimhood or their excuse. And the true virality comes when you give victims a safe place to land. That's what flat earth is. That's what BLM is. That's what feminism is. That these are safe places for people to land with their victimhood. You do that, you will go incredibly, incredibly viral. Whereas me and Rollo are like, hey guys, you need to get in the fucking gym. If you don't, you're going to be fat. If you're fat, women won't like you. If you're broke, then you don't have any mobility or lateral movement in order to date women who you would find attractive. We're telling men to level up. There's no excuses here. We're not subjugated. Men are not victims, but we have to work our ass off in order to be successful. That's what we're telling other men to do. We're not giving, there is no, listen, right here, look at this, right here. You see me on screen? This is my shot. There is no safe place for victimhood here. This is not your safe space.
Fuck your feelings.
Fuck your feelings. There's no safe. If you do not work hard, you will go 10 years and women will not fuck you. Yeah. You can believe whatever your mom told you about being a special snowflake. It is never, ever going to happen for you. You can easily go a decade and no women will ever have sex with you. It is very easy to not become a millionaire. It is very easy to never run a business that is successful. It's super easy. All of you, 1, 2, 3, go. You just did it. It's incredibly easy to do that. That is the truth. There is no space for victims here on this side of the aisle. None. Okay. And so that's the problem is like when you create a safe place for victims, bro, you are good to go. Women are like, men are all trash. What are you doing? You're creating a safe place for victims, right? Women are all trash. What are you doing? You're creating a safe place for victims. They don't have to deal with the rejection of what's going on. Those people who are ripped, they're narcissists and their lives suck. What are you doing? You're creating a safe place
because
for people who are overweight and don't want to go to the gym. Go
I
ahead,
have a
Kaisha.
question. Did you say that BLM was a space for victims?
I do think so. I think no, I'm talking about. I'm not.
We can agree to disagree.
I
We
think.
can agree to
I think
disagree.
that the organization stole a lot of money, but I think that there's a difference between that and the movement. I think there were some people in the movement who actually had, ideas where they were trying to make the world better. But the guy who ran the organization, it's pretty objective now that he stole a bunch of money.
So wait, question for you now, because I actually want to push back a little bit, because I think that on the male side of this, we have the same concept of like safety, like it's not your fault. The women are the bad people. And I see that. I'm like, those guys are losers.
Yes,
like,
agreed.
Those guys are losers.
I agree. They're
I mean,
losers.
the incels.
And I think incel gets thrown around way too much. I've been called an incel. I wish you could convince more women that I don't have sex. That'd be great. I feel like, but I think it works against
Only an
me.
incel would create an app that like made it seem like it had more followers.
No, but what you're referring,
smart motherfucker
actually
did it.
is, what you're referring to actually is, it's like, oh, women are the enemy.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
that mentality is. What
and
you're
there's
talking
also
about.
guys who I know who get laid and they still think women are the enemy. It's just because they've all like dealt with people that maybe they shot out of their league for a little bit and then came back to reality and now they're mad, right? This happens all the time, right? So I'm just like thinking like, okay, so if the safe space for women, which is like this comfort of like astrology and like men are all bad, men are all trash, like what's the equivalent for men? I think it's like the Andrew Tate followers of the world, right? I mean, on the extreme side, I mean, what is he preaching? He's preaching like women
toxic masculinity.
It's like it's good, and like I think in a sense like there's more gray area to this. Like if you're like, okay, if you're not in the best shape, we all know someone who isn't in great shape but bangs a lot of hot girls because he's really funny. Like that is a skill set in its own, right? So maybe that's like a evolutionary response to this, right? So like, what do you think from like the male I guess like coping side where they're hating women?
I think anyone who, like, even from your side, you talked about this before. There were men who hated women who loved to see you tricking them on and you saw it in the comments. And the reality is a lot of content creators who do not hate women still have fans who do. Because of that, like that's where, like for me, if I have a guest on and she's, he or she is making a temperate, moderate case for their belief system. If I had Scott Galloway on and people started making personal attacks against him, I would block them because I'm not interested in that. I'm only interested in doing better. But even with Andrew Tate, he tells people to make money or no one's going to care about you. And he tells them to get in the gym or no one's going to care about you. Yeah. So I don't think that's a space for victims, but people who are victims still also love him.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's people who do that with me too, because they'll see my content and they'll be like, oh, these girls said the dumb stuff on Access Vegas. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm here. I'm not here to dunk on anybody because I have no space. This is not a safe place for victims here.
You can't tell people facts without telling them how to feel about those fucking facts. And that's where I get into a lot of trouble because a lot of people want to say, well, Rolla, what are we supposed to do with this? You don't have any prescriptions for us. Tell me how to live, please. Give me 12 rules for life or 7 hot tips to get the hot girls, that kind of stuff. They want a step-by-step process to go from like 0 to hero. And the problem is like, I'm not in the business of making men better men. I'm in the business of giving guys the equipment and the information and the education that they need to make themselves into better men, because it's not one size fits all. But that's what they want, though. They desperately want that. And the other thing is if you don't tell them how to feel about those facts, they'll hate you, first of all, but they'll presume 2 things. Either you're on my team or you're on the enemy's team.
Right.
So
they're going to hate you either way.
If you give them, they're going to hate you either way. But the thing is like, if you give them information that aligns with their preset belief sets, then what they're going to go is, this guy is advocating for me. He says body count is bad. Yay. Right. But if you ask me off camera, if somebody point blank asks me, do you think body count matters, Roll? I'm like, no, not quite. Honestly, not. Right. But there's a difference between me telling you what the stats are versus me telling you how to feel about those stats.
Yeah.
And so they'll either think you're on their tribe or he's saying this because he hates women and he's a misogynist and everything. It all comes down to what was that guy's pre-existing beliefs, his implicit biases before he heard that information that you gave. And that's what makes you either a hero or an enemy to these guys.
Correct. I almost think too that with body count, if I was a guy, I just always thought about this. If I was a guy, like, what would I do? And I'd be like, well, like, how young were you when this was going down? And if it was like under a certain age, then I would be like, were you just influenced by things in your atmosphere? And this was just maybe not really your genuine decision. It was kind of just, you were there, wrong place, wrong time. So I would kind of feel like funky about it. Like, I don't think I would care about body count, because I would want to know, like, I don't know. I'd want to know certain other.
You're talking about a body count of a man that you're dating?
Of a woman.
Of a woman.
Like, if I was a man,
Okay.
if I was a guy, and the girl's like, oh, my body count was like, let's say like 50. And let's say that she was like 21. I'd be
that
like,
might be an issue.
Yeah, I would be like, wait a second. I'd be like, hold on.
This is coming from an escort at the Bunny Ranch telling you that this might actually be an
well,
issue.
yeah. Well, I would say, okay, like, how old were you when this started going down? Oh, I was like, really young. And I'd be like, well, I think I'd have a different degree of like how I would see someone like that, as opposed to like, if someone's like, you know what? I really was pissed at my ex, and I really just wanted to hook up with everybody in his dorm, and I've seen that happen too.
Yeah, but the problem is now I have to, as the person in the relationship, I have to take on all that.
That's what it is.
I have to take on all that baggage, like regardless of like if it was my fault or not. The fact that she went through those 50 guys, that it leaves an imprint.
Well, so, but getting back to your point of discernment and using your critical thinking ability, maybe I'm an idiot for like presuming that everybody has critical capacity for critical fucking thought.
You don't need it.
But the thing, you don't
need it anymore. No, you have a
smartphone.
Yeah, you have TikTok. You don't need.
That's why I have 12 rules of life. I have 7 top.
I would just be concerned about if I like, let's say like the girl was 21, she said I had 50 bodies, and most of them were below a certain age.
I use body count because it's the most common thing anybody says, but we can go throw out divorce statistics, and a guy like Matt Walsh is going to go, well, divorce is really going down, and you don't have to be worried about it so much. I'm like, dude, marriage rates are as low as they've ever been in recorded fucking history. That's why they're down. I say that, and then Rolo's against marriage. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you the fucking facts.
They also skyrocketed geographically, like in certain.
So,
parts
what's
of the
the
world,
perfect girl for you? That's my
wife. His wife.
My wife of 30 years.
What are you looking to for? Like, what's the perfect women?
Hold on. Since we're on the subject, I got a really good.
Don't mind this, curious, but we're twinning. Can any red pillars please explain to me the logic behind, and I mean logic, I mean give me a logical, rational explanation that is not rooted in emotional, like, response or ego, because they're all like ego. Why is a girl having a body count of 10 one-night stands worse and used up, but a girl who's had a boyfriend for like 3 years and like presumably fucked him like 600 times, not used up because she only has a body count of 1, right? In the first scenario, only 10 penises have entered her vagina, but in the second one, a penis has entered her vagina 600 times. But red pillars will swear up and down that the first one is used up and the second one isn't, because all their argument is rooted in ego, because they can't stand the fact that 10 men had access to the girl that they want before they did, versus the second girl only has 1. So again, please explain to me in a way that is rational and not rooted in your weird ego why one thing is used up and the other one that's happened way more times is totally cool.
Do you know who this content creator is? Because I'd like to respond and actually tag her in it.
Well, I'll get it for you, because I don't know if it was her personally, but I had a girl slide in my DMs and said, hey, I want you to address this on the show. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, here you go.
Okay, so here's the reason why. It's not red pillars who is saying this. It's the CDC who's done several. Who's saying this. It's the Institute for Family Studies. There's several studies. Again, there's no ego involved. I'm using hard peer-reviewed data. When women have more sexual partners before they get married, they're more likely to cheat or be unhappy in a relationship. And by the way, so are men, but women are twice, the factor is almost twice as much, the effect is almost twice as much for women. They did a study recently, it's the IGF or it was the IFS does a study where they go over women who cheat and women who didn't cheat. Women who did cheat had 230% more sexual partners than women who did. There is a correlation between the woman choosing to have 10 one-night stands. And by the way, I don't think you're used up at 10.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but like in Miami, that 10 equals equals 50, right? And
10 equals 50.
in Vegas,
That's
it's,
fair.
anyway,
That's
my point is that this is a lot. Now, I'm curious if she'd be willing to receive this logical argument. This has nothing to do with my ego. It has nothing to do with has to do with hard, objective, peer-reviewed facts. There's theories about why this is. Some people believe it has to do with pair bonding and dopamine release or oxytocin release with new partners, whereas women are more pair bond stronger initially. As they have more sexual partners, their ability to pair bond decreases, and their likelihood of having worse encounters or having marital dissatisfaction increases as well. That is a logical, fact-based reason that is not based in my weird red pill beliefs or anything like that. And I'm just curious if she'd be willing to receive that.
I got something, but I'll go last.
Or is she just basically feel like we're talking about her, and because of that she's getting defensive?
I've got a question too for you guys too. Or I would think, I mean, well, to be honest, if like, you know, she said 10 or whatever, let's say like there was a 18-year-old, she had 50 bodies or whatever. I don't know if I would look at it like, let's say she was 18 and she had 50 bodies. That's what she had. But I would be kind of concerned, like, is she just that submissive that she's just
it's
like,
not submissive. It's a necessity for validation.
Yeah. But if she was under a certain age,
under a certain age or over a certain,
to think that way.
I understand what you're saying about under a certain age or over a certain age.
But would it stay with her for like would she be trained to think?
Okay,
like
so let's do this.
Yeah,
because we don't say that on the show. I've never said a woman is used up. I've never said that. I understand the metaphor, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with it. But what I am saying is that there is like hard data showing that people are, it's much more difficult to stay in long-term relationships with people who have slept with hundreds of other people. That's what goes for men and women. No, it is, because she says, why is it that me being in a long-term relationship and having sex 600 times makes me not used up, but me having sex with 10 different people and one night stands makes me used up? And the
but
reason
how many people actually know what you're saying? Like, how many people actually would refer to
she clearly doesn't know what I'm saying, because she thinks she thinks that the argument, right? Because here's the other problem. How hard would it have been for her to ask ChatGPT this question, and then all of a sudden she sees Dr. David Buss, Dr. Stephen Stewart Williams, Dr. Joffrey Miller?
But
she
she's
would be
asking
able to
about a perception. There's a difference between perception and fact, right?
But her question was,
that's why she couches it in
her
ego.
question was her question was, can anyone explain to me this phenomenon without using their ego? And it would have taken less than 20 seconds on ChatGPT to pull up all the data that I just brought up. She doesn't want to know the answer. She wants to believe that the answer can only be based in ego, when the answer is actually based in objective reality. Go ahead.
Question. So actually I have a really different perspective on the body count question, which is like, okay, a girl has 10 body counts, you're not used up, but I would actually respect the girl more if those 10 bodies were like super high quality guys who are wealthy and successful, and then the one girl who dated like the loser drug dealer down the street, like that's not better. Actually, that's
quality
worse.
of the pool.
Yeah, I think quality is really important. And also let's say, for example, like someone has like a higher body count or whatever, and I don't even really care about body count that much, but if it's like absurd, then I say like, you made the wrong decision that many times if you're truly looking for love. If you're telling me you're looking for love, so then you're like, okay, so your facilities for discerning what is true and not true is not very well tuned. Like maybe you fall for lies or you're gullible or whatever. So now you're dealing with someone who's been like lied to so much, and of course they're going to be a little defensive. Now you have to solve all of that as a man. I'm not saying that's the body count is a reaction or a result of poor decision making.
Yes.
If like that's what they were, if they're truly looking for love.
Yes.
If they're looking to have fun, I don't think the body count's that big of a deal. Just be honest. That's all.
I have friends of mine here who are porn stars, and they very much enjoy having sex with strangers. That's fine. That's not what we're talking about. But the idea that same girl who enjoys having sex with strangers is now a good partner for me is nonsensical. It's absurd, because in that I don't want to get cheated on. That I don't want to get cheated on. So that's the thing. What you just said, you're using logic and reason. And the thing is, if she had just asked any LLM this question and it had returned to her all of this data that was out there that clearly showed that women with higher body counts are harder to keep happy in a relationship. If she had seen that, then she wouldn't be making this video. But she's making this video because someone hurt her.
What's a high body count? I don't even know. What is
I have like 1,000, more than 1,000. So
yeah, the way that I look at it is a little bit different.
I mean, she works at
there goes the chat.
That's what she does.
Lauren's over. Lauren's
Are you okay?
We have some extremes of
Lauren's putting some Dan Bilzerian numbers up there.
Oh my God. The way I see it is like a biology makeup. Like men and women are made differently. Like men are made to reproduce as much as they can. Like think of us as elephants.
Yep.
Okay. So seeing the male elephant supposed to go around and get as many female elephants pregnant. And then the female elephant doesn't do that because we have the baby inside it.
So I'm curious if because I really do want her to see this clip. I'm going to make a clip of this and we're going to tag her in it. And I'm curious, like hearing the women in here also agree with this concept. Like, how are they also misogynist? Are they also egoic? I'm just curious, because when a fundamental understanding was agreed upon, then it's a problem. I didn't call them used up. I think that is a pejorative. That's just something you say to women to be mean. And I have a lot of female friends who work in the adult industry, and I don't think they're used up, but I sure as fuck don't want to date them. That's the difference, and that's okay. That's okay.
Everyone has their preferences and their boundaries, so.
1,000 bodies.
To me,
hold on, go ahead. Ask her. Ask her if you want to know.
I know she said the 1,000 bodies. So
she comes on here every time and she brings it up and it catches everybody.
Everybody goes nuts. I know it's going to be a good chat night with.
I honestly wasn't surprised.
Well, I've been doing sex work for 10 years.
Okay, so it's sex work, right?
Sex work for 10 years.
Okay,
yeah. So I started out as a dancer, and then I began clients and I don't recommend this to anyone because it ended up in a dangerous situation, which is why I ended up at the Bunny Ranch. And pretty much
the Bunny Ranch? I don't know.
It's a legal brothel in Pahrump. It's in Carson City. But so there is no legal prostitution in Clark County, which is where we are now. This is a massive misconception. People think it's legal here. Outside of Clark County, there are certain places in the state of Nevada where escorting is legal.
There were documentaries on this when I was coming of age. And I would just recommend that you research. To me, it was amazing. I just was so fascinated by the concept of brothels and just it's a business. It is a business operation, and I think it gets we can go on and on about that.
Let me answer this question because I want to get the reason I even put this in today's show is because I want to. She's watching, okay? No ego, no nothing. I'm just going to give you some nuts and bolts rationalizations here, okay? Here's what happens. I saw this question has been addressed before on another podcast.
Yes.
And I forget the name of the guy who did it, but anyways, they were there's women on one side and a guy on another side, and the woman asked pretty much the same exact question. What difference does it make if I've had 10 lovers or I've had one lover and I've had sex 1,000 times with one guy or I've had 1,000 times with 10 guys, right? And dispersed amongst it. And then the guy says, "Give me your drink." So because she's drinking a soda or something like that, he says, "Let's say you and I are dating right now," and he puts his finger in the drink and drinks it, and he hands it back to her. He says, "You're going to drink it?" And she'll say, "Yeah, sure," right? But then he says, "What if I took that and I had 10 guys or 100 guys or however many guys you have, anything, and they all put their finger in? Do I want to drink that after it comes back?"
Is that a true analogy?
Yeah,
though?
but
it's not fair.
I'm with you. I feel what you're feeling, but that's still a feeling.
I'd be pissed off the one dude.
Literally,
that's the base. That's the basis of
the feeling.
So if you're going to ask somebody, if you're going to. I hate to run with the flagpole. I love Myron, but if you ask somebody in Myron's audience, let's just say the same thing, that's going to be the reason that they're going to give, or it's going to be the lock analogy, which is
spiritual something.
No, the lock analogy is like a master key opens many locks. And a lock that opens to any key is just a shitty lock.
But don't you think we have such more humans are so much more advanced than we break it down to locks?
No, those are
we are though, because in a sense
those are bumper stickers. But the thing is here. So here's the other part of this is that, and this is probably a little bit more. When we're looking at body count, what's one guy or 10 guys? The reason why 10 guys is different is because women tend to fixate on the guy who was the best dude that they fucked out of those 10, right? If a woman has a 20, I brought this up before, a woman has 20 body count, let's just say round number, and another woman has one body count, okay? And you happen to meet the 20 body count girl, and you are the most alpha motherfucker she has ever met. You are the best she can possibly do. She's ride or die for you, but she has 20 other guys in the backfield, right? Then there's the one with the one. But that guy that she was with, his name is Dan Bilzerian, and sorry, Dan, but you see what I'm saying is if there's that guy who is the ultimate alpha guy, and there's only one guy in the backfield, or there's 20, and you happen to be her Dan Bilzerian, her alpha guy, the difference is this, is that if there's 10 and then there's 1, the odds are that the girl who's got 10 or 20 or whatever, she's got more guys with a broader pool. Like I was saying before, the broader pool versus the quality of the guy.
So of course I agree with you, Rolla, but the problem is that's still your ego. Like the ego of losing out. My whole point is this: there is objective data.
So who's she gonna pine for?
Well, but there's objective data show for whatever reason. There is objective data showing. The Peterson Institute did a study on this, that if a woman has 20 sexual partners before marriage, she has a 17% chance of staying in that relationship. 17%. That is an objective measure. That is not ego.
Could the data just be like, okay, someone who's bad at making decisions?
Yes.
I agree with you. So it's not so much that the sex made them undesirable.
What if
they were already?
Or what if they were taught it was positive to do that?
What if it's this? What if it's the necessity for validation? So here's the necessity for validation, and here's the ability to make good decisions, and the necessity for validation just outweighs it. We've been talking about this whole time, how much people need validation. The necessity for clout is a necessity for validation, and hanging out with people who have clout is a necessity for validation. And so maybe that, especially at a younger age, maybe that's a stronger pull than making good judgments or good decisions. The idea that they may have been messed up beforehand, that's while you may be correct, it doesn't change the fact that I'm the one who's going to lose my children and half of my net worth because I married someone who needed stimulation outside of the relationship, and then all of a sudden we grew apart as soon as I lost my job or whatever. And that's the thing, the marital satisfaction was much more difficult. I will tell you, as someone who's dated a lot of women, the ones that have had that require more stimulus are the harder ones to be able to be in a relationship with. Good decisions or bad decisions.
Question though. Oh, you can go first. You can go first.
Well, I got a super chat real quick. So I don't think I think it doesn't matter what anybody's body count is. It may only matter if you have a certain types of expectations from that person.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If you have no expectations.
And then Aaron Clary decides to chime in. Did old man Rollo get his Metamucil today? Thanks. There goes your spot on my show.
I love it. Well, I was going to ask you, Mike, what is the data for male counterparts?
Yeah, so it is for how many women a man sleeps with before he gets married. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't have the same effect. It has an effect.
Sure.
Certainly a guy who's been with 500 women, it's going to be hard to keep that guy locked down.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, from the data I've seen, is the deleterious effect is almost twice as much for women as it is for men. And that would make sense though, because like women's ability to pair bond is a superpower. Men's necessity to have sex with some stranger behind a dumpster, it's not good. It doesn't make us good. It's just a function of evolution.
Yeah.
Women being willing to die for their children is a fucking superpower. That's incredible. And you losing that ability to just actually like be down for one man, you losing it over time, you're losing the superpower. You having this so this is the problem. It's like when you have women, it's like, yeah, I bagged all these social media celebrities and athletes or whatever. Like that's not something to brag about. That's a masculine characteristic. Is it a double standard? Fuck yes, it's a double standard. It absolutely is. And so that's the whole reason why I'm saying. So is it bad for men? Yes. Is it bad for women? Yes. But it seems to be worse for women than it is for men. It seems to be more bad.
Oh, this is a good one here. Super chat. Body count is a fun topic. If it's non-exclusive, all I care about is that she gives me the same level of sex that she gives those other 50 guys.
Or more, right?
Wow.
Or more.
Yeah, that's the other issue that I've seen very, very frequently. And I've talked to several girls who've had this situation where they were wild and had threesomes while they were in their fun phase in their early 20s. And now they have a boyfriend who they've settled down with. And so now this girl with a high body count has gone into the relationship, and she does all that. She did all that fun stuff with Chris Hemsworth or Tyga at a party one time. She did anything. She did anything that Chris Brown or anything that Nick Cannon wanted her to do. But now with her man, she doesn't do that anymore. She's grown. She doesn't do that anymore.
Yes. She's had her fun.
She's had her fun.
It's time to get serious. No fun for you.
As of recently, I'm recently single, and I think that I tell girls I'm in my healing era right now.
Tell me you're a Virgo too. Tell me you're a Virgo too. And you're an empath.
I have a question though. Like for me, like you know how they say like our bodies naturally like. If let's say, you know, there's a girl and you said you don't want like a high body count, like let's say there was a girl with like 1,000 or whatever. And then all of a sudden your body, like it has a pain somewhere and you're kind of like disgusted or like you kind of have a hurt somewhere. That means your body's rejecting them. For me, I would feel like my body would reject it. Like let's say if I was a guy and a girl said, oh, I had sex with 100 guys, but, and then there was another girl that I like too, let's say equal. And she's like, oh, I've been with my ex for 10 years. That would bother me more.
Been with your ex for 10 years?
Like if a girl said
because she's making bad decisions, or she has low self-esteem from that.
No. If she had been with a guy for 10 years and I was just the newbie coming in,
that's something
that's a bond that happened.
That's interesting. I can tell you as a man, I don't agree at all.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. So what do you think about that? Because I would think that scares me.
Let me say, I don't disagree that that's your feeling.
Do you think that some men...
No, what I'm telling you as a man, if I dealt with a girl, if I met a girl and she's like, yeah, I had trouble in my relationship, but I stayed in the relationship even when there was trouble, that is a fucking green flag. That's a green flag. If I hear, hey, you know what, I like this guy, but like one day, I don't know, I saw him trip and fall and he got a black eye from falling on the ground, so I broke up with him. That's a red flag.
Okay.
That's a red flag. Yeah, for sure. I don't need someone where we grew apart. I need someone that is like,
I just don't want somebody going back to them.
Again, listen, commitment is not when everything is good. Yeah. Commitment is not a girl. Commitment is not a girl dating a handsome, good-looking dude who's rich and buff. That's not commitment. Commitment is when that same guy gets injured and he can't work for a while and you stay with him. That's where commitment comes from. And so from that standpoint, when I hear if I heard of a girl who stayed with her ex for 10 years, that's a green flag to me. That's not a red flag.
I would wonder if she still loved him, and then I would kind of question myself.
Well, you know what? It's then my job to be a badass. Yeah. It's my job to be incredible in bed, to stay in the best shape possible, to be incredibly stimulating. So it's my job then to do those things. I don't really have a problem with that. And by the way,
she has that WAP.
That WAP?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
When she has that, are you always gonna go back to her?
Are you always gonna?
It depends on what you're
I still remember
looking
like
for.
my best.
It depends on
I
what
still
you're
remember
looking for.
10 years ago, probably.
I remember my
different.
best.
You guys are in different phases of your life too, right? Like you might not be looking necessarily for your soul partner at this moment. Right?
I still am.
Okay, well,
if she's at CES, come find him.
There you go.
I hate nerds.
Come find me. Hey, there might be some hot nerds though. Maybe you guys will
I'm
connect.
sure there's plenty of hot nerds at CES. Yeah.
Let me get this one here real quick. If there's no meritocracy in fame/influence, is that all that matters? Why do you tell the truth, cost you views, instead of pandering for 100 times more fame?
Listen,
Great question.
I may listen. You never know. You know, one day I was like, "Fuck this red pill stuff." I'm gonna
you know
be
what? You guys are lucky. I use my superpowers for good, and not for
Can you imagine?
evil.
All of a sudden, you start seeing me. He's like, "Buy her, send her $5,000 right now. Send her $5,000. Send your girl for her nails. Send her $5,000, or some other guy's going to do it. Do it. You don't deserve her. You don't deserve." When I start making content like that, I will blow up on TikTok. I would explode on TikTok.
The best would be get in a relationship and just be like, I do everything for my girl because she's the queen. And like, it's couple content. But you're like, you know, I actually thought about this. I haven't done it yet.
I know my worth.
I think I might do it actually. It's me as a single guy. This is how I would be baiting for women. I'd go to like Spain. I'm half Spanish. I go to Spain all the time. And I go, whenever I buy something from the Gucci store, I pick out a dress for my future girlfriend. I know her size, and I know that she's smart. I know she's elegant, and I have a little portfolio of outfits for her when I meet her. If I made that video,
that is like
viral.
So viral.
I love the way your brain works.
I didn't think about that, but I guess.
She's like, okay, hi Ethan.
Yeah, and at the same time, if I had a female friend who said that a guy did that for her before she met him, I would say this is American Psycho. That is Christian Bale, and he's going to murder you.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You have another video?
I do. Let's. Oh, geez. God. Okay, I'm gonna do Mackin.
Okay.
Successful men will date an Applebee's waitress. Doesn't line up with the data that richer men tend to select richer women. More educated men tend to select more educated women. Richer women appear basically immune to the decline in marriage that has transpired since the 1970s. When you look at this data holistically, it doesn't seem to be the case that there is a effect of men selecting downward for youth and beauty and whatnot at the expense of career and education. When you look at the most successful men, they tend to pair up with the most successful women, even though oftentimes those women stop working after marriage. At the initial point of contact, they tend to both be in similar stratospheres.
So it's kind of a refined taste born out of a refined lifestyle.
Yeah,
in order to be able to achieve high socioeconomic success as a man, you've had to become discerning, and you probably have non-typical challenges that you're facing, and you want somebody that can keep up with you. The great line from David Senra, he says, "The rule that I've learned about choosing a partner is that as a high-performing CEO or founder, you either need a supportive spouse or no spouse at all." I feel like it's playing into that.
I have a question on that after you go.
Well, real quick, Kaisha, you haven't said anything. Do you have any opinions on this?
What's the question?
The concept here is that what was the first thing we were talking about?
High value guys pair up with
so basically the idea.
Girls or girls the same age.
The idea is the billionaire dating the barista, and that doesn't happen. Generally, people end up getting in relationships with the people of their own socioeconomic group, and I think that the data may lack some context.
Yeah.
So the question is, do millionaires date girls that are baristas?
Yes.
Yes, I believe so. I was the answer for years, and what society would say is a high value man. These men wanted women that were not
good word,
successful
wanted.
Or they were desired. I think the whole idea around women needing to be equal or in the same financial bracket or however doesn't apply, because a lot of men, the things that are put on the internet are not really the same shit that men are following. I think a lot of stuff is clickbait.
Okay, so there's two caveats here because I hear this data all the time. This assortative made of data. The first thing is wealthy people tend to marry other wealthy people because that's who they're around. That has more. That has a lot to do with it.
I think proximity. I have something to say about that.
For sure, that's the one that it's like for I went to this Wilshire Baptist Church in East Dallas, and everyone there was Anglo and rich. They all went to Lake Highlands High School, and they're rich. And then I went to high school at Woodrow Wilson High School in East Dallas, and that place was ghetto as fuck. Yeah. And it was just like I noticed that my friends who were ghetto hung around other people who were ghetto, and my friends who were rich hung around other people that were rich. So people marrying other people in the same socioeconomic bracket happens because of logistics more so than it has to do with assortative mating. That's the first thing.
What do you mean by ghetto?
Huh? Like I grew up in East Dallas. All my friends grew up with crack dealers. Like that's what I mean. I legitimately mean ghetto.
Yeah.
So let's go to the opposite part of this, which is the concept of, which is the concept of when he starts talking about people dating in their same socioeconomic class. There's other data that shows that wealthier people, and I know this is going to come off as maybe offensive to some people, but what happens in general is that women can marry out of their caste by being very attractive. And so several times you'll see very attractive women marrying people who are in a different socioeconomic bracket. Than it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen often enough. And because of that, there is data showing that good looking, like wealthier people tend to be more good looking on average. And so because of that, that's why I would say also these wealthier men are marrying women that are in the same socioeconomic bracket, because that's go ahead. That ends up being the same people.
This is something I've noticed, and it's like a personal experience. Never got that bad, but it's something I observed, which is if you date a really hot chick and you're doing well for yourself, and all your friends are super successful. I have a friend who's a billionaire, and they're just like a billionaire guy is actually no different than some of the guys I just know that I hang out with. Like they actually have like their own insecurities. I know one guy he never pulled a girl in his life. Like it's unbelievable. This guy's super wealthy.
Yeah.
Anyway, my girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, she was super beautiful girl in medical school. So like I like that because she was like kind of like intelligent. I like that, right? And then I brought her to meet all my friends, and all my friends are super successful. And I noticed something like, okay, she's not gonna like cheat on me with my friends. I don't think. I hope not. But she's not around. Like all the guys that she met through my friends, I think individually she would respond well to if she met independently, right?
Yes.
And because she's never around those guys. She's like, where's the circle of like wealthy men? It's like, oh, it's like my friend group or your friend group, right? They're not out there at the bar all hanging out together sometimes.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. There's just fewer wealthy men. The reason why the billionaire does not date the barista is not a function of assortative mating. It's a function of economics. There's only 5,000 billionaires and there's 500,000 baristas. Right. That's the difference. Yeah. And so because of that, then they just say, well, hypergamy isn't real. Men do not want young, hot wives. And they keep saying this nonsense, and it's not true.
Yeah, their bullshit made it. Their bullshit mate switching theory fell flat. They know that, and now they've got to find some fallback that isn't dual mating strategy. And so this is the new hotness for the pop Evo psych guys right now.
Well, to be fair, Mac and Murphy agrees with you. Yeah. Mac and Murphy actually believes in dual mating strategy.
Two little comments about that. So like one is like, even if the woman isn't wealthy or whatever, like every man is as good as the woman behind him. So let's say like,
I don't know if every man is as good as the woman behind him.
You know the saying, right? Okay. Well, like, let's say like she might not be as successful or whatever.
Like the woman behind me is way better than me.
Well, then she make you better.
There we go. Let's get the simp comments in here. Let's get the comments going.
So you're married for 30 years.
And then also, so like,
she's also looking at me, so I just have to be careful.
Crazy pill. And then also, I feel like dating has changed for wealthy men. They no longer just like date. It's more kind of like an arrangement.
Well,
I think for a lot of them are okay. So here's the issue. I think as men garner fewer and fewer social skills because of the Zoomification of our society, meaning we have meetings on Zoom, we don't do things in real life anymore. As that happens, the wealth has to overcome his autistic nature, his lack of calibration. The wealth has to. And so what happens is he actually starts going to matchmakers, which matchmakers are just, God, I can't think of a profession that is just more ridiculous than a matchmaker. I have several friends that are matchmakers, and I tell them all the same time, the first thing they ask about the guys when they matchmake them is how much money they make. And it's so blatant what's going on here with the matchmakers. It's men who don't have game and have a lot of money who need a woman to help them find some man that they're supposed to be with. And this thing is supposed to be so glorious. I'm friends with Patty Stanger. I'm telling you right now that the whole thing is about money, and it's so problematic when I watch it. And when the women come to the matchmaker, it's like, hey, I'm tired of working. I need a man with money. And when the men come to the matchmaker, it's like, I have a lot of money, but I can't meet a great woman. It's never the fat broke guy who goes to the matchmaker. It's like, hook me up with a hot young chick. Yeah, that's my point. It's exactly my point.
I have a question too, or a comment on that. I just noticed, like you said, like from personal experience, when I worked at McDonald's for 5 years. I changed my whole face. I got into Playboy right after I changed my whole face. And changed my teeth, changed my face, everything, because I was like, this just isn't working for me. Nobody dated me when I was at McDonald's, and when I was at McDonald's, nobody was attracted to me. There was like I was like a novelty, like I was cute for a minute, and then it was just like bye kind of thing. And then, but I did notice I didn't have any education at the time because I just didn't have the access to that.
So the guys that are picking you are not necessarily.
Lauren, let me say,
they don't care about your career.
Lauren, listen. I'm going to say
made yourself hot.
I'm going to say this.
Well, yeah. So that changed everything.
Listen. I'm going to say this. And I actually really like Mackin a lot, and I'm sorry. This is objectively true. If you were a McDonald's worker, and you were really, really attractive, no one would give 2/10 of a shit that you were a McDonald's worker.
I think
men would date you. I know what he's saying. I understand. But in reality, if a girl is a dime piece and she's a Denny's waitress and she's 19, dudes will trip over themselves of all socioeconomic classes if she is truly a 10.
But I was not a 10.
Okay, but my point is, you're sitting there and equating whether or not you weren't a 10 and then you were a 10, whatever. My point is you're equating you're not being with a high status guy with your job, and
I couldn't get with any guy.
One gives a fuck that you worked at McDonald's. No man cared. I know that there may be a few out there, but if a girl is exactly my physical type and she works at McDonald's, I will still, and so will every man. And you can lie, but listen, you got to deal with your maker someday. If you want to lie about this, you can. If a girl is a certified 10 and she works at Taco Bueno, you will still smash. So go ahead and lie. I mean, and I'm talking even the guys, all of you guys who went on Chris Williamson, even you can lie. The reality is, one of the things I do respect Chris Williamson for saying, he said, when I saw my future wife, when I saw her, I did not think, I want to have kids with this woman. I wonder how intelligent she is. He says, I wanted to have sexual intercourse with that woman when I saw her. And this guy is on the woke left side as far as socialist as you can go. And he even said that. That is the reality. And so for the initial, like, Lauren, you and I are friends.
Yeah, exactly.
You and I are friends. We have, you and I, we have a conversation about intellectual stuff. Yeah. We can do so because it's a person-to-person conversation. But if I'm going to date a woman and you want to know what the number one attribute when I first meet her is, it is 175% physical attraction.
So I don't care what any.
I don't. Yes. What I'm saying is, if you weren't attractive, then you weren't attractive.
I wasn't.
The McDonald's shit. If I went, dude, if you and me went through McDonald's drive-through in the Cybertruck and we saw a girl who was just like straight up Megan Fox, I'm like, yo, what are you doing working here?
I'll tell you right now.
I'm sorry. My girl would actually be asking her, what are you doing right here? Go ahead.
I'll tell you right now. I was at CES today, and there's this thing called booth babes, booth girls. They get hired by companies to stand at the booth.
By the way, shout out to Bella Model Management. Shout out to Blink Model Management. Shout out to Legend Models and Talent. Shout out to LV Platinum. Shout out to all that. So those are all the atmosphere modeling agencies in the city that hire all those girls for convention.
So I'm looking at like a slushy machine. I don't give a fuck about the slushy machine. The girl is beautiful in front of me, and she's talking to me, and she's like, "You live in Miami? Like, I've never been there." And she's like so like full of excitement, and she's like, I heard the clubs are like crazy. have you been to space? I'm like, I was space last weekend. Like, it's not the biggest deal. But she was enamored, right? This girl was very young. I don't know how old she was. Maybe she was 20 or something, right? And she was like, oh my God, I would love to go there. And I'm thinking to myself, like, 34. I probably shouldn't ask her if she wants to go to Miami, but
but you got her a ticket.
I did.
You got her a ticket.
No, I didn't. I just I walked
she's staying
away
at the SLS. You got her a place at the SLS.
What stopped you from doing that?
I think there's like, I don't know. I'm recently single, so like going that young and recently, it was weird for me. But
that's fine. You can have that preference.
Big energy shift.
You can have that preference and still recognize if she's physically attractive or not. And
she was very attractive.
And there is a level of attractiveness that you would have said.
So
yes.
I'm saying, like, if I was in my own town where I grew up in and I met in the same scenario, and she's like, I've just never been out that much. I don't know what a drive-through movie is. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore. I'm not that old, but in my hometown, they had one. They had one.
I would know.
Yeah, it's like a cool novelty. And I don't know. I don't know anyone with a car or something like that. Okay, I guess that's too young. But regardless, the point is that I think a guy would definitely bite on that. So in your scenario, I think you just probably like weren't exposed to the right person.
I agree.
And
I agree totally.
I mean, we're talking about.
You're not ugly, so I feel like in that scenario, you might have just been like in this small. I don't know where you're from, but maybe you're in a town where people are coming in and out. It's McDonald's or fast. But if they met you during your smoke break or whatever, I think they would have been.
Would you have wanted the
I wanted that.
clientele, but
Well, so-
specifically the clientele that you were around most of the day, which would have been
Well, so what was
McDonald's
interesting
clientele.
is when I was at McDonald's, I was like, I want to get married, I want to have kids, and then I would notice, I would always say that, like all the time, like to myself though, I'd like hide it, like kind of thing. I'd be like, I'm hiding it, and then like it just turned out that it was like you said, like I was pretty enough to like make a connection or to hook up with or something, because like people would come in the drive-through and then
So
I
you did hook up with them.
I did, but then they would leave. But they would leave though.
Time out.
They would leave.
You got to stop.
They would
You got to
leave.
stop the whole show.
I
You were working. Stop. No, listen to me.
Yes, they
Because
leave though.
this is not a big deal to you, but it is to everyone else.
Okay.
You were working as a cashier at a McDonald's and hooked up with dudes that you met that were going through the drive-through.
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
Where's this McDonald's?
County.
Stop the
I
show.
was there since
Stop
like high
the
school.
show, bro.
Paducah,
That is
Kentucky.
Really, that's weird. I was normal to me.
That's awesome. That's a great place.
that's like that's the beginning of a porn scene.
Right?
If I was working at McDonald's, I don't think I'd be able to bang any chicks through it. I'm sorry.
No. Here's a
not
crazy
chicks you'd wanna
stat.
bang.
They do statistics and they basically show the level of attractiveness based on what job you have, and they survey a bunch of women. And lawyer actually ended up being number one. Now the irony is there's people who own their own plumbing and roofing firms that make more money than lawyers, but they were much lower, seen as much lower than a lawyer. Did you know that being a janitor, you actually got less attractiveness, even though you were employed, than being unemployed? Being unemployed was like a neutral stance.
So the perception matters.
The perception of janitor actually hurts you more than being
As a man,
unemployed
for
as
sure.
a man for women. And so being an attorney, by the way, for those of you who don't know this, most men who are attorneys are in massive levels of debt and are never going to make, Harvey Specter level of money. It's but it's
Like
funny
hundreds
because
of
the
thousands of
perception that they're smarter, dude, there's law degree mills right now. They're just pumping out law degrees for anybody who they don't have to pass the LSAT. They don't have to do well in the LSAT, and they'll still get law degrees. And so women still have this perception that these men are more high status, when in reality, there's guys out there that worked on oil rigs. Like you guys watch the show Landman, those guys make $375,000 a year.
Yeah.
And like they actually will make more money, but women don't see them as higher status. And then the janitor still, like if I own a janitorial service and I have like several different trucks and cleaning people that go out there, I'm going to be seen as low status to women, and I make $700,000 a year. That's the crazy part. And it's actually better for me to be unemployed than to be a janitor. That's the crazy part.
I'm jealous because my dad cock blocked me all my life.
What?
He's a pastor.
Your dad
So yeah,
cock-blocked?
he was like,
That's his
pastor.
job. That's his job.
Pastor's daughter.
He's a pastor. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's his
like,
job.
he was like, you can't date him, and I'm like,
Wow.
damn,
So
like,
I'll give you my take on all of this, because Aisha gave me something to think about here. Is like, it's not about who you're pairing off with; it's who you want to pair off with.
Yes,
So it's not about that. That's what the problem I have whenever this fucking topic comes up is they're like, well, rich men marry rich women. I was like, yeah, but the marriage rate is still 6.1 per 1,000 people. It is at the lowest rate it possibly is. Next, there's very much. You were right about the pool of applicants for guys. There's fewer, super successful
rich
guys
men.
and more. Yeah,
Period.
and then on top of that, as you were just saying a moment ago, there's the prestige that goes along with it. what is a high value man to the people who are taking all of these statistics? Are they saying, well, you're a part of a Fortune 500 company and you didn't marry the chick from McDonald's?
I believe
amazing
socioeconomic class. But here's I mean that's the main thing.
They're not testing for the right information.
Here's the main part,
because they just want you to believe.
Here's the main thing they miss.
Sort of native bullshit.
We've got the man and the woman who are of the same socioeconomic class and they get married together at 30. But what was she doing at 21, 22, 23? She was invoking her hypergamy, and she was going out with the rich guy,
fucking guys in the drive-thru at
McDonald's. Yeah, but I like those girls.
They're cool. Like the center fielder. Yeah. But what I'm saying is she had her fun and then settled for a guy in her socioeconomic class because he was rich. And then you sit there and watch this whole thing. It's like, do you see assortative mating?
Well, see,
because after she got through with all of her fun, then she married and settled this guy. There proves assortative mating. And there's no hypergamy. No, it's
the
not
problem.
true.
And the problem is that whenever we use marriage as the metric for success of or failure of a particular idea or whatever the fuck it is that they're trying to prove.
How about marriage to a good woman who doesn't cheat on you?
It's the 21st century. We are 25 years into the 21st century. Using marriage as a litmus test for the success is like over. That is a dead fucking meme. If you're going to say this is indicative of a natural evolved mating strategy, and you're going to tell me that rich guys are going to select based on socioeconomic status and not how hot that chick is and how good she fucks, get the fuck out of here. That does nothing to address the idea of, well, once again, dual mating strategy, or what men find attractive and arousing and what women find attractive and arousing. Okay. So when you're approached in the club by when you're dancing at the club and you're approached by very rich men, that's because they want to be there. They want to get with you. Are they going to marry you? Are they going to have a relationship and I don't know, maybe on some rare occasions, but what they want to do, what their biological evolved impulses are, give them a proclivity to do, is to go to the club and say hot ass in front of them. That's what they're doing.
I have a question. Maybe I don't want to like digress too far or propose a segment, but I'm kind of curious, like, what is everyone's opinion of like what is a high value man? Because it gets thrown around. I'd like to know what everyone's opinion is, if that's okay.
Sure. It's intersubjective reality. I don't care. Like for instance, it's the concept of alpha and beta that comes from taxonomy. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Contextual. So let's say I have my birthday party.
Abstraction.
If I have my birthday party and 50 people come to my birthday party and they toast me and my birthday party, in that moment, I have more alpha qualities than I did before that moment. And then we all leave there and we go on stage to watch Tiesto perform. Then Tiesto starts performing. He becomes the contextual alpha. So when it comes to high value man, it's an intersubjective thing between several different people. High value man does not mean a certain amount of height or income or a number of sexual partners.
It's competition.
It's competition, but it's also contextual, meaning it changes from moment to moment. You're gonna have a man who's an alpha male and then he gets sick and he can't perform. He gets injured and he can't play in the NFL anymore. He gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? He catches some disorder and now he can't play in the MLB anymore. And so my point is it's always contextual. And the thing about high value men, this is where the real difficult part comes. If a man has a lot of women who want to have sex with him, but women in general dislike him, that the women in general can't tell you that he's not a high value man. This is one of the biggest problems that I have, because women will say this. They'll be like, hey, is being loyal attractive in a man? And women will be like, yes. I was like, well, then how come all these unloyal men are having so much sex with women? And that's because it's not what's attractive. This happens to me all the time because I am friends with guys who are bitter despots. Bilzerian's one of them. I hear women say he's not a high value man. And I'm like, I know 500 women who would have sex with him. I don't understand how you can then make the determination that he's not. You can't. What I'm saying, it's a function of supply and demand. It is not a function of your opinion or my opinion. That's what I'm trying to say.
First, I said, I'll answer this question real quick because I always get this question. People go, what do you know what a high value man is? Well, first thing you need to establish is, are there dominance hierarchies amongst human beings?
Yes.
Are there objectively measurable differences between a guy who has a lot more status and a lot more respectability? Let's just say, are there dominance hierarchies amongst human beings? If your answer is no, I can't tell you anything, because anything that comes out of my mouth is going to be subjective. Okay. If you think, oh, we're all living in this, this commune of egalitarianism and love and peace and all this other bullshit, then nothing I say is going to make any difference. You have to accept the fact that there are dominance hierarchies amongst human beings. If you do, the man that's high value is the guy that's at the top of that dominance hierarchy. He's the guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. And it doesn't matter if that guy is the best, he's the top G in the fishing village in Chile, okay? But he has a pickup truck and he's at the top of the dominance hierarchy, and women want to fuck him and men want to be him. That guy is homeless and poor in Brickell, okay? in Miami, nobody gives a fuck about him unless you're draped across a Lamborghini and you have a yacht and you're flying girls out and stuff like that. That guy is, again, the context of where that person happens to be. But there's two factors that don't change. Is he at the top of whatever his respective dominance hierarchy is? And is he the guy that other men want to be and other women want to bang?
I have a comment too on that. Like, I never really, I guess until the recent days or years, I never really encountered like the words like high value man kind of thing. So this is like a new concept for me just to hear about. Obviously money is great and everything, but there have been people where like I've been in rooms sometimes where like there was like someone with money, and let's say that they were a gambler, and let's say they made like a ton of money, like they were really, really wealthy. But then there was like some random person that came in and they were just reading the room really well, and they like knew, like they could almost like know everyone's personality by like just talking to them for like a few minutes. To me, someone like that is high value because not only
again to you, I agree. I agree to
that's
you,
a personal,
but there's no objective standard for it.
Yeah, there's no objective standard.
So let's do something. You work with apps. What is a high value app? If if the app is in demand, it becomes high value. Can the app declare itself high value? No, it cannot. So what is a high value man? It's like no matter how abhorrent you find him, if he is some billionaire who you think is disgusting, Jared Diamond, not Jared Diamond, who's the CEO of Morgan Chase, I can't remember, Jamie Dimon. So say Jamie Dimon ripped off for billions of dollars, ripped off all those people for billions of dollars. If there is a line to the left of women who want to date him, you do not then have you cannot have the audacity to then say he's not a high value man, because demand dictates that he is high value no matter how abhorrent you find him.
Correct.
And so, by the way, here I'm about to go the opposite way. When you have Sophie Rain and she makes $54 million in a year on OnlyFans, and then you're like, that's a 304 ran through hoe. She's a low value woman. I'm like, you can say that all you want, pimp, but she made $94 million in 2 years. So dudes, and do I think these guys are simps? Yes, in my opinion, they are. But do these guys who are sitting there feeding her all this money, that you can't say that she's not economically viable? It is not my place in an intersubjective reality to call. The only person who I cannot call and by the way, the opposite is true. If I call myself low value and every woman who wants to date me, I am not low value. It is not for me to determine or for you to determine what is objectively higher value or lower value. Just like I can't say, well, you know what? The S&P 500, it's at 6,000 now, or it's at 7,000 now. But you know what? It should be at 5,000. I've determined it should be at 5. No, it doesn't matter. It trades at 7,000. So because SPX trades at 7,000, that's what it is objectively defined as, because the intersubjective reality of buyers and sellers have determined that price point.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing to do with
I got to do this one. Steve Sherber said this. Don't forget to take into account athleticism and other common interests. Athletes date athletes, musicians date musicians, etc. I'm not sure about the.
I'm not going to date a musician again.
Who dates musicians, but athletes date athletes.
I agree with that. I agree
again,
also proximity too. So if I
think the proximity is the main one. Like we go to
share the same.
Wealthy people go to the same churches. Wealthy people go to the same country clubs. Wealthy people go to the same colleges. That's more. That has more to do with that reasoning that Mac and Murphy was bringing up than anything to do with male or female selection. Go ahead.
I was going to say a high value man is somebody who uplifts the women. Somebody married.
Okay. Like, so here, I have an example for you.
Going to put the women up here.
Let me play devil's advocate. I introduce you to a guy who is not physically attractive, but he lifts his female friends up. He makes them feel really good. He supports all of their causes, does everything they want, and gets fucking friend zoned by every single one of those women. Still high value? But no one wants to hold on. No one wants to sleep with him. But he's lifting women up, like you said. See, you're laughing now because you understand my point. High value is not determined by a person.
I saw this one man. He was so hot, like super hot.
Uh-huh.
And then I go check on his page, and he's married. He got a beautiful family, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I want that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Right, but hold on.
yeah.
He's not high value because you thought he was hot. He's high value because other women, including you, thought he was hot. Intersubjective reality, supply and demand. It's
And
a
just
function
the
of
fact that
economics.
He had his wife's back. It was just like, oh my god. I
Yes,
wanna be
because
like
more
that,
women
you know?
more women creep into his DMs because he shows his wife. Duh.
Question
That's
for
the
you,
reason.
actually. Question for you. So if a guy comes up to you and he's attractive, really attractive, and he's like flirting with you and you're vibing with him, and he goes, "Oh, put your number on my phone," and he gives you his phone, and you get to put the number in, but the background is like white picket fence, and it's a family, and he's holding like a dog and a baby, and there's a wife there. Are you gonna stop that?
Yeah.
Are you-
I would
okay.
say no. I would be like no.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
That's good.
I have a
That's good.
comment about the friend
Go
zone.
ahead.
I feel like lately, like as in my life, like I don't feel comfortable dating somebody that I haven't known that saw me as a friend, because hear me out. I think if you date someone like right off the bat and they go, oh, I discover who, you know, like I don't really know like any patterns or stuff. And it would be nice to know if there was any, but like I would like them to know me, and I would feel more comfortable dating somebody if they knew me for a while. So then they go, I know her. That's just
but
her.
Lauren,
Like
you-
that's how I like think, but I didn't used to think like that until recently.
Right.
Yeah.
But you also understand you might be difficult to date.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to have a
She's
enough self-awareness.
She's hoping for the pretty woman ending to
when you fill out the W-2 Bunny Ranch. You know what I'm saying? Like the when
Richard Gere's going to come in and offer you.
So can I ask actually? So who will you end up marrying, or do you want to get married?
I do want to, and it feels like so crazy to like say that, because like
Why?
I feel like my whole life like people didn't want me to do that, so it was like they wanted me to like do like be like, you know, somebody that was there for a good time, and that was what I was just, you know, to do for people. But
Wait, did you feel that way growing up?
yeah.
too? Oh,
yeah.
So this is lifelong.
This is like a lifelong thing. So I just wonder like how it would happen, kind of thing. But I think that I would have my best shot if a guy was my friend first, because then he would notice like that's just her. She's acting like that. Because if a guy, I don't do anything crazy.
I know the guy.
You do something crazy.
I do, cause I think crazy.
You have sex with men at the Bunny Ranch.
Yeah.
That is kind of crazy for a lot of men.
This is the guy you're gonna find. You're gonna find a guy
Uh-huh.
who like likes you. You're cool, but he has like a weird kink thing.
Yes,
okay?
agreed.
And
Totally
he-
agreed.
and
Yes.
he's gonna be like, this girl understands me, and that's the one you're gonna
And
marry.
the kink thing is like he's turned on by the fact that you've been with 1,000.
maybe,
Correct.
maybe,
And I
yeah.
feel like if I did get in a
Let's get those numbers
relationship,
up.
I would. So I feel like strongly, like I thought about this before too. And someone's like, well, what if you didn't get in a relationship? Like, you know, you've had connections and stuff. Like, do you think people would get angry or violent? Who knows? You know, like who knows? And so I said, well, at that time, if that ever happened, I would just kind of drop off. Like I would just kind of like Lauren Roses would just be like that would be what it was. And then I would just do, you know, something different. But like,
All right, if you want to get married to Lauren, put a 1 in the chat. Let's get a 1 in the
go.
chat right now for everybody who wants
Marriage
to get married.
proposals.
am I getting a marriage proposal?
Best one
tonight?
gets published on the site. Yeah,
Published.
I got it.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you think you'd ever marry someone that you met at the Bunny Ranch?
So I've been asked that before. I just like, so the here's the thing.
Have they ever proposed to you?
No, no, I've never been proposed to, but I think that the issue, I think that just my biggest issue is they need to know me for a while and know my personality and know my life and know me, because that's going to be a big, like they need to know how I am and how I operate and how my brain works, because it's not how another person's brain would work. I admit that. And so they need to know my reasoning. So they need to know me for a while. And I would need to know they could stick around. Like, because what if that's too much for them? What if it's exhausting? What if they don't want that? And I would hate to like invest my heart into something and then people be like, you know what? It was just a fling. And I'm like, well, that's been the, you know, the case here. Like, you know, I told one of my friends, I was like, sometimes like people will meet me and then like they'll get tired of me, but like they'll leave and not tell me why, and then they'll return years later. And I'm in utter confusion about that.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I don't know why that happens. So that's something.
We'll talk offline. I'll explain.
that's
all
pretty
to you.
easy. I can figure that one out pretty
Wait,
quickly.
but I never knew that. Why don't? Okay, wait. So why don't they tell you when they do that?
Because they don't want to close the door. They keep it open. So it's like
You're the sure thing.
Yeah, they can come back whenever they want.
What?
Okay, so they can come back whenever they want. So
Breadcrumbing. They're stringing you.
There you go.
along.
There you go.
So they just leave, and but then it's weird because when they return,
Did
like
they leave ever? I mean, they just stopped talking to you, right?
they stop talking to me, and then I take it as they left, and then so I go change. I change myself because I'm like thinking I need to change myself now because that didn't work out, and maybe there was something wrong with me, and they didn't want to say it, and they were shy, and there was something wrong with me. And so I changed myself, and then they come back and I'm a completely different person.
Well, who are you exactly?
Who I feel like we all like kind of are just a conglomerate of our experiences and a work in progress.
Are you in your healing era? Because I am as well.
I think I've always been in my healing era. I think I've been in my healing era for a very long time now.
I'm a Virgo and I'm a healed. You've been healed, okay? I can promise you.
Yeah. But so they try to leave the door open. Is that
Yeah, that's what it is.
But wait, so question. So if they didn't really like me, or they don't
I don't know if it's like you. I think they enjoy having sexual intercourse with you.
Well,
and
yeah,
they do
I
not
value
close
you
the
as a
door
person.
and lose the ability to have sex. I'm sorry to be so crass right now. I'm sorry. But men, this is one of the main differences between male fantasies and female fantasies. For the most part, if we're a man and I fantasize about certain models, female celebrities or adult actresses, they don't give a shit about me, and they would not piss on me if I was on fire. If I'm an attractive woman and I have fantasies about male actors, athletes, and celebrities, I can message them on social media, and not all of them, but a lot of them will message me back, and I might even be able to have sex with them. So that fantasy lives even longer. It's more pervasive for women. And so because of that whole difference in your situation, what you keep talking about is, I don't understand. Why do they hang around? He's telling you. He's like, me as a man. So like, for instance, if you're a woman and you've lost interest in a man, you cut him off. Generally, women will cut that man off sexually. But if a man has lost interest in a woman and he can keep stringing her along and continue to have sex with her.
Yes.
Oh, seriously?
How do you know? No, I'm okay. Wait,
of all people, how do you not know this?
I'm confused about this because I always thought if a man doesn't have sex with you, he didn't like you.
I mean, generally.
Well,
that's what I thought. If he doesn't want to touch you, he doesn't want to touch your body.
Does he not want to have sex? Did this guy not want to have sex?
No. He wanted to have sex with me, and then he didn't want to have sex. I mean, I'm not like hung up or anything on it. I'm just using past examples.
Because what happens is sometimes you enjoy someone, and then you kind of get like, okay, I had this. This was fun. The mystery is gone.
I never had that happen with me before.
And then they come back later when the mystery's been like revived.
Well, yeah, but then I'm a different person, and then they're like, "Who are you?" And I'm like,
"You're not a different person."
So here's the thing.
You're the same person.
While you may be a different person.
Yeah.
If they are physically, man, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm in elementary school.
But
if they are physically attracted to you, whether or not you're a person who you're a Christian, Muslim, Jew, believe the fucking earth is flat or whatever, and they're physically attracted to you, they still want to have sex with you, regardless of whether or not you changed. You're giving men way too much credit, which is shocking to me, considering what you do for a living.
Yeah.
That is shocking.
I literally think like that.
One thing that I want to point out is that, like, they say 90% of the way someone acts towards you has to do with something personal and nothing to do with you.
Yes.
Right. So, like, I mean, maybe them leaving the door open, maybe something personal happened to them, and it really has nothing.
I just find it weird.
I think they just want sex. I don't think it's that fucking complicated.
Maybe that could be.
Why are we making it this complicated?
I don't think it's complicated.
Hey, listen. Lauren's been with 1,000 dudes. I bet she's not terrible. You know what I'm saying? Can I just be real? You can go, don't clip this. But like, I'll bet she's not bad in bed. Anybody want to take a guess on this? If I take 1,000 3-pointers, guess what? Guess what happens? I get better at shooting threes. Okay? I'll bet you she's not terrible. And I'll bet the guys who have sex with her probably like doing it. And that's what you're trying to make this way more complicated. Why'd I go eat at McDonald's? Because I was hungry and it tasted good.
See, that's why
because I was trying to hook up with the cashier.
That's how I think. Like, I'm very intricate in my thoughts.
But honestly, I think your naivete actually makes you good at your job.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes sense.
I think you have this artificial innocence that actually makes you really fucking good at your job.
Huh.
I think there's a lot of cynical women that you probably work with, and you're not. Of all the things, you are definitely not cynical, and your lack of cynicism makes men probably more attractive. You have a good attitude, probably makes men way more attractive to you.
I know sometimes I've gotten in a funky mood, but yeah, I kind of.
Michael, I have a question for you. Hold on, Mike. Making women friends as a proxy for pre-selection, as Sartain teaches, isn't that just advanced sneaky fucker game?
So it is and it isn't. So it is if you are legitimately. Here's the reason why I say it's not. So I'll give you 3 examples. My friend CJ Sparks, my friend Kindly Myers, and my friend Kaylin Franca. They're good friends of mine. I care about them very much, and there's no secret intent for me to hook up with them in the future. And there's no, so because of that, I want to disabuse you of that. I have female friends who are legitimately friends. Kaylin Franca helps me with animal rescue. Kindly Myers helps me with the charity events that I do, and so does CJ Sparks. And so because we have interests outside of that, and I have no interest in them, romantically, because of that, I don't agree with that. Now, are there women that I'm attracted to that I friend zone? Yes. But the thing is, the way sneaky fucker game works is I wait for the moment of weakness and then I pounce. I don't do that. I do not show intent to a woman who does not give me compliance. So there's no sneaky fucker game. In every case, whenever I date a woman, she feels that it was her agency and her decision to date me. It was her agency or her decision to pull me into my guest bathroom in my apartment and take advantage of me. It was her agency to do so. It was her decision to do so. Every girl that I've dated before, they felt like they were the ones who chose me.
So I think that what the difference is here is when you are in sort of like the friend zone, and then you come out of the friend zone, and you're like you're playing along. When I'm talking about like sneaky fucker, or if it's the identification is what it is. If generations of guys have been taught exactly this, which is the more feminine they identify as, the more like, oh, I want to get my masculine in touch with my feminine side, and they'll have this bullshit Carl Jung, animus thing. The guy that is like really dials in and he wants to be the Virgo and the empath and all this other bullshit. Like he wants to prove to you that he can identify with the feminine. And then all of a sudden you've got this nice guy who's this teddy bear, who's this nice stuffed animal. But when the stuffed animal gets a hard on, you're like, oh my God, is this what you wanted all this time? I can't believe it. It's like, no, that's why women hate nice guys, right? Because they're using the nice angle to get in. That's basically what sneaky fucker game is. That's not what he's saying. It's like
I'm saying legitimately friends on that.
Yeah, you're like this is like leverage as opposed to I'm going to change my life that you think I'm more like a chick.
Like that whole thing where it's like, oh, you think this guy's just your friend? Hit him up right now and tell him you want to hook up. If any of those three girls had done that, I'd be like, what's wrong with you? Do I need to come save you? Do you need to go to the hospital? Do it? Like I would not say, it's time. It's time for us to finally be together. I've been waiting all the. No, it's not.
No, I finally came to the realization you've been here all along.
Here's the reality. I can only do this. Why? Because I am not in a sexual deficit. I can only do this. Why? Because before, like, whatever, and I don't want to be specific about what relationship I'm in now, but before, after, during my relationship, there was no deficit for me to find women to date. Because I'm not in a sexual deficit, then I can be friends with women. If I was in a massive sexual deficit, I did 15 months in Iraq, or I just got out of jail after being in jail for 10 years, it's going to be very hard for me to be friends with attractive females. But if I am having sex on a regular basis with someone I find extremely attractive, it's very easy to be friends with females.
Oh, huh.
All right. Thank you for this. $20, man. Speedy recovery. Thank you very much. Rugged for me. We both.
Well, I was wondering what
both did. Yeah, who's talking about?
You had 10 inches of your intestines taken out.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to bring it on the show.
No. We're not. Yeah, we're going to go through the freezing.
I thought you were going to show. I thought you were going to show us your intestines.
Bronze it. No. Hey, we're going to show you your what?
My leg, my varicose veins. I was going to take the varicose veins they ripped out of my leg and show them
out here. Yeah, right on.
We both had surgery.
At the same week. Yes.
Oh wow.
Not at the same hospital, although I was hoping it was, so that we could do a show from the bed.
That would have been funny.
Rolla, which of your books would you recommend for my mother to read? She has all sons and is curious. Always start with the first one.
Yeah,
just pick up the first one because nothing else really makes sense. But you'll have a better foundation if you read the first one. That's what I always tell everybody. Let's see. Anything else?
I have a question.
Sure.
How many books do you have?
I have 6 books. I just published the 6th one in November. Yeah. So
you know how hard it is to write a book. It's so crazy.
Hard.
Don't you have a ChatGPT? Just generate.
Yeah. Of course you're right. Of course you're correct.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
Let's do. Who should we do next? Oh God, since we talked.
Men fixate a lot on someone's past because they feel that another man can permanently taint a woman. You don't have that power.
You don't think
a man cannot permanently taint me?
But a lot of women are they've had relationships that have completely changed their personalities, the way they trust a man, the way they view men in general. I feel like you can be in a messed up relationship that can really mess you up.
But I feel like when it comes to past and a man focusing on what happened 5 years ago or what man you slept with or what guy you were with, that is thinking when this man stuck his penis in her, she no longer has value. We're the whores, but who are we all fucking? But the truth of the matter is, it's like, if you meet somebody that makes sense, whether they have a kid, whether they've been with someone publicly, why miss out on potential love of your life just because some guy dated her and it didn't work out?
That's probably the mature mindset.
There we go. Got it. Is that better? I think that's better.
Right,
go
can
ahead.
you guys hear me?
Yeah, I just took
in the chat. Can you guys write it? You can hear me.
I took us off muted.
Okay, got it. All right, beautiful.
So, yeah.
So the thing is with Brittany Renner is like the thing with Brittany Renner is when she says it, she even wrote a book training women how to trap men into these financial arrangements. Well, it's funny that we brought her up because she was who I said. Remember, I said Alex Hormozi and Brittany
Did you
Renner.
read her book?
Huh? I have not.
Okay.
Did
Yeah.
you read it?
Yeah, I did, and I didn't think that it was training people how to trap men.
Well, she does brag about trapping men.
But I don't think that that was what her book was about.
Okay.
I think it was about her experience with individuals, but I don't think her whole agenda with her book was to trap men.
I think her whole agenda and period when she got pregnant by PJ Washington when he was 19 years old, I think it was to entrap a man.
I mean, what she did in her dating life and her book are two different things.
Okay. She has done some of the most insane shit I've ever seen and bragged about
I never said what she did wasn't insane. What I said was what her book was about was not a formula of how to trap men.
So she talked nothing about promiscuity at all in the book.
She was not selling how to trap men.
Was it like a memoir kind of thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The cover of the book is her just showing her butt, like literally.
What was the name of the
So
book?
have you
Wait, what was
seen
the name of
Kevin Gates' new videos?
His
he's
music
been doing
videos?
lately. He's been like talking about how to treat a girl because he's dating a younger woman, right? And he's like, guys, if you don't give your girl like you need to cash app her. Like
I feel so bad for Kevin Gates.
Why is he doing that?
But because no one's taught him any other way. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the issue. No one taught him any other way, so he actually believes that that's the correct way to be. And like the other thing is like he got into a relationship with Brittany Renner and then showed her off at like a Lakers game because he thought he was going to be the one to change her because she wore a hijab. No, she's still Brittany Renner. That you don't cure the hijab did not cure her borderline personality disorder. That's not the issue. And so whenever I hear this, and it's always her with this like massive level of cope. No, that's not what Michael Porter Jr. is saying is absolutely correct. There can be men in your past, whether they did something wrong to you or not, that can create a traumatic issue that changes how you deal with relationships in the future. And her acting like that isn't real. It's just cope. And why is it cope? Because she's been with so many men and bragged about it. And by the way, you guys want to look up the highlight reel of all the videos that Brittany Renner made back when she was like, I think she was in college and she was a track athlete or something like that. And she was saying the most heinous shit you could ever believe. And then and then in the end just thought, hey, I never forget this. She goes on Pearl Davis's show. She's sitting across from Andrew Tate, and she goes, I feel like I have a lot to contribute in this space. And I'm like, what in the blue fuck are you talking about? She doesn't. No, she doesn't. She was sitting there going on Danza Project, screaming on top of Charleston White, freaking out and screaming at him. No, she needs help. And the fact that people are looking up to her is scary. That's the issue. And so when I see this stuff, it kind of just drives me nuts. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is who people want to look up to.
What help do you think she needs?
I think she needs probably gabapentin. She probably needs gabapentin. She probably needs some stuff for antipsychotics. We can show you. Can we pull up the video of her on with Charleston White screaming like she's possessed by a demon? I think she needs gabapentin. I think she needs some schizophrenic medication, and I think she needs cognitive behavioral therapy for the borderline personality disorder. That's what I think.
All right, one more here.
Okay,
let's do one more before we go. And this was the best one.
The number one status symbol has never been how much money you have, how big your house is, how many cars you have. The number one status symbol is and will always be how hot your wife is. It don't matter what your net worth is. When you walk in a room and you have a hot wife, you get instant respect from everybody in that room. So fellas, spend a little less time grinding and trying to make money and a little more time trying to have a hot wife.
Save my husband.
Have a blessed day.
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
Amen, brother.
It's interesting.
I think it's fascinating.
Does anybody have like a counter that doesn't agree with that or anything like that?
I saw that this week, I think, and I was kind of like, is that really the way it's worked this whole time? Nobody tells you all these things, you know.
Yeah,
because that's the male.
Also, if she's embarrassing, though, that's pretty bad.
Yes,
it's really hot. If she's embarrassing, then I don't want to be around.
The thing is, I have had more men want to network with me because I would show up with an attractive woman than another guy showing up with a Richard Mille watch on. So like that's what I've seen. I totally agree with this. And also the guys that work on my sales team all have hot girlfriends. Because why? Because they can close the deal. Right. That's also a really important thing. Go ahead.
Question: what constitutes a woman as embarrassing? Like what?
I can give you.
I feel like I'm embarrassing.
Right. So it would be exceptional drunkenness. It would be talking down to my clients, talking down to me in front of other people, getting into an open argument that we could have had in private, or when we're at a table conversation, deliberately taking sides against me to embarrass me. Those are the things that would be embarrassing.
That's a good one. I don't respect men with hot wives who have no frame or leverage in their relationship.
Sure.
That's the key right there.
Don't have what?
Frame or leverage in
their relationship. In fact, in that case, it almost looks like the chick's just a trophy wife that he bought off. Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't like him.
But that's true though.
I'll give you an example. If you know who Jason Statham is.
Yes, of course.
What's his wife?
I'm the beekeeper.
She is like in love with Jason Statham, and she is hot, and that's the ideal situation right there.
Yeah. I wish that weren't true. I think just because I fancy myself an intellectual, but like being with my husband now we've been together for 7 years. We just got married last year. It's been very interesting because this is my only long-term relationship, and it's been fascinating seeing the world through his eyes. I feel like I've learned a lot about the way that the world works just by him informing me of his perspective. Because prior to that, it was just me being, all right, I'm smart. I'm going to go in the room. I have value. I have this, but
yeah, that's what I thought too.
Interesting.
I feel like I'm almost like looking through a bush, like, oh my God, I never knew this, but I'm 33. Like what? Like,
I had to coach my last girlfriend. We would go to like a party and there's like a lot of like wealthy guys or whatever. I'm like, please don't embarrass me by like, listen, showing too much attention and like laughing and touching like that's not acceptable, right?
Yeah. Touching other people or you?
And that could
touching
other men, right?
Okay.
And this is not something she did, but I had to like forewarn her, like, this is gonna be taken. You're gonna make me look really stupid if you do this.
Really?
Right? Even if that's your like flirty personality, to everyone else, they're gonna wonder like, who am I dating, right?
Yeah, I would feel the same way. Yeah, or if it was a situation where she has a belief that's so far out of bounds,
right,
that like my friends are like, you're dating a woman who believes the earth is flat. Like I don't understand what's going on. Like something like to that extent. I would, and again, I would say the same thing, the opposite. I'm not going to go home with her family and start espousing Keynesian economics or some shit like that. It's the same thing. It's like in front of her family, we're gonna have a unified front. I'm never gonna say something to embarrass her because she's my partner.
Right.
That's the way you should do it. You should look at it. And then privately, we can have a discussion, be like, I can't believe you said that. That's really embarrassing. That's totally fine. That's having a unified front. Doing anything other than that is embarrassing.
So other than like the laughing and the touching, what other things are like?
Just basically look at Jeff Bezos' wife, and that's basically embarrassing. Look at Travis Hunter's wife. That's basically what's embarrassing.
But I think Jeff Bezos likes it.
Maybe, but it's still embarrassing. Anyone else would be embarrassed by that situation.
Yeah, like the whole like Jeff Bezos was Lawrence Sanchez. What's his name? The actor. Leonardo DiCaprio. That clip right there, that's the equivalent of embarrassing.
Wait, what happened?
She's like flirting with him, staring at Leonardo DiCaprio while the richest man in the world.
I'd break up with that girl if that happened to me one time.
She was flirting with Jeff Bezos?
No, she was flirting with Leonardo. No. She is married to Jeff Bezos, flirting with Leonardo DiCaprio in front of Jeff Bezos.
But it's all in the realm of plausible deniability. Like, oh, babe, I was just like having fun laughing.
He's an actor.
He's an actor. I was just enjoying time.
Hall pass.
But that right there, I can tell as a man, I can tell when it's like more than just like she was enamored. She was like really infatuated with him.
Yeah.
And showing that, it's very embarrassing for a man.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it would be very embarrassing.
I mean, I
was always taught that
I would be embarrassed by all the NFL players she dated before.
I was always taught to be friendly, so that's something that maybe to take into. I was always taught to be friendly to everybody, so that's one thing.
But putting the shoe, put the shoe on the other foot. What if you're in a committed relationship with a man and you take him to a party and he like with all the girls around, like how would you
if it was my friends? So I have a really weird view. I'm kind of weird in this department where I think that the guy like could have the right to be open in my relationship. I'm just saying this for me. He could be open if he desired to, but I can't.
Like sexually open,
that's how I think. So if
different.
he did that in front of me, I do have like a little bit of like thing in my head where I what do they call it, where you're like a cuck queen, where you like to see like girls all over your guy, and then you're the one that gets them, and then he might pick you, he might not. I like that like mystery. It like kind of jacks me up. And that because I have like a masculine side and a feminine side.
Because you're with a guy that other women want to fuck.
Well,
no woman wants to be with a guy that other women don't want to fuck.
Well,
unless you ask women.
Yes.
Then they say the opposite is true.
Well, I would
And then
get
they
mad
keep
if
dating those guys.
I would get mad if it was like a friend of mine, like a close, like best friend, because I'd be like, this is like my best friend. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is, my friend from high school. But
it's okay. If it's a stranger.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm weird. Like,
No, that's not weird.
like,
That's what people say when they're in open relationships. Like typically,
But
you want something with no strings.
But I would
right?
want to be like not being able to do that, and then he's able to do that, so that my fantasy of like
It's
rejection
fulfilled.
fantasy can get like met.
A lot of self-deprecation going over here.
I know.
Very good.
I think I have that. I don't know.
Okay.
It's so weird.
Lux, what do you think of the show?
I think it was great.
You had a good time?
Yeah, I did. I have a great time. It was a great conversation. I mean, kept me on my toes.
I love it. Ethan, what do
Yeah,
you
it's
think?
really fun. I mean, I haven't done many podcasts, so
Yeah, they like you in the chat
this
too,
is
by the way.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool.
Definitely. What do you think?
Blast.
You had a great
Total
time?
blast,
I
yeah.
appreciate you
Good
coming
time.
on.
Yeah,
Did you have a good time?
I had a good time.
Yes. Thank you for flying out here just for this.
Yes, I was
Did you have a good
super
time?
stoked.
Amazing. I didn't want to say this, but I've seen your videos way back in the day.
Yeah?
I did.
Kaisha, did you have a good time?
I think it was interesting to hear everybody's perspective, and I respect everybody's views. and
Awesome.
opinions.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on here, guys. We hope you had a good time. We don't know when the next episode we got to do because I have to travel. He's healing up.
We're gonna 29th, in the 20s.
But probably in the 20th, yeah, because I'm going to be in Phoenix, like I said, on the 16th and 17th. Hopefully, you guys can come out to the free event that we're going to be doing out there. We're not giving out the information publicly just because we don't want to get egged or
Either the 21st or the
harassed.
28th, one of those.
Yeah, one of those dates we'll probably do another episode. We want to thank you guys for joining us. Like I said before, different events coming up at the 16th of January. We're doing a free event. The 28th of February in San Diego, me, Owen, and Marcelo are doing a free event. And then we also, like I said before, have the Babes in Toyland party. It's going to be the 5th of February in San Francisco, California. If you guys want to check babesintoylandcharity.com. A couple things I want to say. Alice Wonders, who's been on the show before. Alice and Arter are friends of ours. Arter is one of our coaches in immersion. Alice recently came down with stage 4 breast cancer, and it spread to different parts of her body. She's getting treatment in Poland. I posted before a GoFundMe. Alice has been on the show 4 or 5 times before, and we want you guys, if you want to go to the GoFundMe, please do that. And another thing, like I said before, the funeral arrangements have not been set for Katie Moore, who passed away a couple of Wednesdays ago. Katie Moore, who's been on the show probably 8 times.
I loved her.
One of my best friends. She passed away. Still the cause of death has not been determined. She did not take her own life. We don't really know exactly what's happened, but the family has not planned a funeral. But if you guys want to keep a good thought in your mind for her, that has happened as well. So I really do appreciate it. If you guys want to go and check it out, I'm going to post it again, the GoFundMe for Alice Wanders. And if you guys know Arter and Alice, I mean, they're a great couple. They live out here in Las Vegas with us, but they're in Poland right now and where she's getting treatment. So just want to keep a good thought for those people. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And just remember, man, have a good time. Spend some time with your family. Hopefully you guys had a new year. 2026 is the year you don't go back to your ex. 2026 is, you know what I'm saying? 2026, don't pay taxes.
Yes.
Just decide to not pay taxes. Exactly. Move to Nevada. 2026. It's time to get on that Reddit True Tide and the Ozempic.
Yeah.
Do it in 2026.
All right, next show, AVN show. Here we
AVN
go.
show. Hey, listen, 2026. Get on that.
Yeah, this was fun. Thank you. Yeah. I think it's
I want you to have the
to get
baby.
more perspective of people's opinion. Everybody gets to tell me